toes of my brand new parachute. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, can you buy me a crown? Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. New look, got the ladies shook. New watch saying it's my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Man with a vision. Got a passion, making it happen. Ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. Hey! Here we go! We coming ready or not, you better steady yourself, because we're raising some hell. There's nothing keeping this roof from blowing off. We're taking over the town, hit the switch and shut it down. Like Indian, we're electric, never stop. We coming ready or not, we coming ready or not. We giving all that we got, we giving all that we got. We coming ready or not. We're throwing gas on the fire, the stratosphere getting high. We're trouble when we
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Oh, my. I had to get that final sip in, Jason.
I saw that.
It's go time, ladies and gentlemen. I got 3 words, and it's Bristol, baby. This is Talladega. This is the regular season finale. We have reached the end of the finish line for season number 4 of the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series. The B cars. We're ready to go. Talladega, the wild card. I can't emphasize this enough. Don't adjust your sets. Put it on big screen TV. Put that video quality in 4K Ultra HD. And Jason Rockefeller, we are going to have a fun time tonight here at Talladega, brother.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just got done calling a truck race at Talladega for Nerd TV. Here we are for the Fixed Setup Series for Northwest. I'm excited. I absolutely love the Xfinity Series cars, the way they handle, the way they drive at Talladega. All 3 National Touring Series for NASCAR, obviously, all of those handle differently, from the trucks all the way to the next-gen cars, even back to the Gen 6 cars. They all handle super, super differently. I'm ready to see how these Xfinity Series cars tackle Talladega tonight.
He is Jason Rockefeller. I am Wesley Outland. We're on camera. We'll jump in a time or two on the camera during our broadcast coverage, but Cody Deemers is behind the scenes. We're ready to go for 200 miles, 80 laps around the Talladega Superspeedway. And I got to emphasize this enough, Jason, as we get ready for qualifying on track any moment now, as we set the stage for this race. There are drivers that are just looking to add wins, and one of those drivers has got to be Dan West Jr. This man has caught fire since after the Labor Day break return. He has definitely put himself in the championship playoffs. And speak of the devil, here comes the 55 on track right now.
Yeah, he's been so fast here recently, as of these past few weeks, ever since we came back and during the Fun Series, looking to try to go to victory lane yet again here today. I'm expecting big things here out of Dan West Jr. Remember, there's a lot of guys in this field here tonight who probably can win at Talladega, being such a wild card. Really, anybody's game to go out and, win this race here tonight, Wesley. I mean, this is a crapshoot is what most people call it, in the racing world. We saw it at Daytona earlier this year. We've seen it with Atlanta. I think Talladega is more than likely going to be the same. So not only for Dan West Jr. will it be a good race, it could be a good race for everybody else in this field here tonight.
Remember, we're taking the Fast 12 to the playoffs when it's all said and done. If you're guys on the outside looking in, like Joshua Marcy on the bubble, or Toby Ritters, or John Ottenbacher, or even winner this past Monday night to advance into the round of 8, Jason, Kevin Smith. These are all guys that are going to have to show that they deserve to be in the playoffs here when the night is over, because, again, we're only taking 12 drivers. We're going to see a crazy race tonight, and it's only because of the scenario and the point of no return for all these guys on the outside looking in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, there's so many guys obviously here tonight who definitely can win this race. I mean, obviously, we look at, Ryan Bloom, top of the board right now. You talk about Dennis Moore, guys who have been doing really good. We saw Toby Ritters win the Truck Series race here last year. We've seen Troy Daggett do very, very good on the super speedways. Joshua Marcy, Chad Mallett, Carl Burke, Brett Johnson, just to name a few. This is anybody's game here tonight at Talladega. And you're looking at Brett Johnson right there in the number 7 machine. He's been a driver who's been very fast as of recently. There's Sean Breitzman, who has pretty much dominated this season as of points go. But really, it's anybody's race tonight, Wesley. That's something we're going to talk about here a lot tonight.
Yeah, well, we're watching Dana Rogers as well as Sean Breitzman work their way at Ford and Toyota on the racetrack. Sean Breitzman now up to 3rd. We'll see what Dana Rogers can do in his Ford Performance Mustang. Works through the tri-oval. By the way, here's the thing also, if you're not familiar with Talladega, as he works down the backstretch heading for turn number 3, Jason, the cool thing is, and we've seen phenomenal, crazy finishes. The start-finish line is going into turn number 1. It is not in the middle of the tri-oval like the 2.5-mile sister or brother track, if you will, at the World Center of Racing Daytona. This track is bigger, big brother, 2.666 miles, and the start-finish line is not in the tri-oval. It is going all the way on the pit-in exit of turn number 1.
Yeah, and that's something that can be presented a lot, when you go to places like Daytona and obviously the new Atlanta Motor Speedway, which is the smallest super speedway that we basically now go to ever since the reconfiguration that started in 2022. You come off turn 4 at a place like Daytona, you have mere seconds to think about your move and what you're going to do before you hit the middle of that tri-oval and take the checkered flag. Here at Talladega, you come off turn 4, you have a whole straightaway, then you have the whole tri-oval, then you have half the straightaway coming out of the dogleg or tri-oval, whatever you may call it. So it gives you a lot of time. We've seen a lot of incidents here. We've seen a lot of, if it weren't for the placement of the start-finish line at Talladega, where it is right outside the tri-oval in the middle of that straightaway, you see it right there. We wouldn't see some of the fantastic photo finishes we've seen. We may have never saw, probably the 3-wide photo finish between Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer, and Jimmy Johnson back in 2011, which set up to tie the closest finish to NASCAR history. We would have never seen Reagan Smith versus Tony Stewart in 2008, just to name a couple. So that's what makes Talladega such a unique tri-oval racetrack.
Ryan Bloom, top of the board right now, 54.044 seconds. I love that angle. William Fletcher comes storming by the start-finish line. He'll funnel back out into turn number 1. And right now, Fletcher on the clock. We'll see where he'll end up. Stephen Paulison for Aerokinetics Esports. Right now, the 58 machine. Some of these drivers still needing to take time. We'll give you the top 10 real quickly. Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore, Sean Breitzman, Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, Toby Ritters, Teets is 7th, Nichols 8th, Newton, and Smith. Right now, the top 10 drivers. And obviously, Jason, I think we could possibly shape up for another week of Win Racing versus Team LSRTV as well.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, Team Win Racing and Team LSRTV, they have been pretty much the class act of the field here so far this season. We'll have to see how it is. And remember, we talk about Talladega being that crapshoot, that wild card that we all consider and know and love of what Talladega Superspeedway is, similar to Daytona and Atlanta. This is a track where somebody obviously other than the Team Win or LSRTV cars can go to victory lane here, and that's a possibility that we'll have to see with. So you're going to see teammates probably stick to one another, but when it comes time to get up on that wheel and dig, all gloves are off, and it's every man for themselves. There is no such thing as teammates.
Yeah, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The field is gritting. Here's your starting lineup for the final race of the regular season here tonight in Season 4 of the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series B cars from Talladega. Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore, they're on the front row. That's the 25 and the 44 down below the start-finish line, row 1. Row 2. We'll find William Fletcher in the 28 machine and a former Truck Series champion, Puyallup, Washington's Sean Brightsman of the 46. Row 3, Dan West Jr., the dark horse, the man that continues to shine since Labor Day, winning 3. He's going to try to go for 4 in a row. He'll start to the inside, and his teammate, Jeff Stabnow, along in 24. Row 4. Toby Ritters has to be in the top 12. He's behind in the points, but he's showed great observations of improvement in the months to come. And Sam Teets, Jason, there's your top 10 here in Talladega.
Top 20 here tonight. Next, you have row 5. You have Gary Nichols and Paul Newton, the road course king, sitting there. Then you have the next row. You have Kevin Smith and also Ryan Gormley there in that 22 machine. Had a tough break in New Hampshire last week, but was also very fast. Next row, you got James Vining, Tyler King sitting there at 13th and 14th. 15th and 16th, you got Brett Johnson, Troy Daggett there in row number 8. And then you have row 9, John Ottenbacher, Joshua Marcy, who's a guy who could be an underdog here tonight, being so fast as of recent. And rounding out the top 20 tonight, you have Chad Malik, Chris Kynes there in the number 20.
Row 11, they'll find Carl Burke and Dan Lowther right there. Row number 12. Frank Harris, the legend. Dana Rogers right there alongside of the 07 as the field rolls. Beyond the pace car, Talladega off pit road on the front stretch. Stephen Paulison, Ray Fournier in the house. Good to see him. And of course, here's your 26 car field, along with Chris Camary and Ron Hunt tagging the back. 28 drivers. 28 drivers ready for green flag. Let's take a look real quick at the race analysis for tonight's event. Your first up is Kaufman Creative Weather Conditions as the field's on the back straightaway. Sunny skies, partly cloudy, 78 degrees. Here's that track temp rearing its ugly head in triple digits ago, though, Jason. What's that going to be like with a wind speed at 6 miles an hour here at Talladega?
Yeah, the wind speed's not really going to affect everything that much. What's really going to be the thing to circle right there on the Kaufman Creative Weather Conditions is obviously that track temp. You have an air temp of 78 ambient, but that track temp being 104 degrees, Wesley, when these guys start going, and I know that tire wear isn't a big thing at Talladega, but with these Xfinity cars, with the horsepower, the lack of grip they have here at Talladega, it starts to become a thing, especially with this worn-out surface, heading through the tri-oval, heading into the corners, pushing and whatnot. It's going to make for a slick one. So handling could very, very well be a factor here in tonight's race.
Race analysis for tonight's event. If we've got it handy, we'll throw it at you. 200 miles, 80 laps. Obviously, there's an opportunity for a fast repair. I'm thinking 4 sets of tires plus the original 4 on the car. 3 attempts at a green-white checker. 100% fuel capacity. I would say between 35 to 35 to 45 laps on a fuel run for these cars. Ready. Final race of the regular season, and then it's on to the playoffs. Here they come. Storming out of turn 4. Green flag is in the air as they go through the tri-oval. Let's settle it out. This is Talladega. Ryan Bloom, Jason gets the whole shot. Dennis Moore will duck in line. Brightsman up top as they work in 1.
And Bloom did a nice job being able to clear Dennis Moore down off into turns 1 and 2. A little bit of a stack up Heading out of turn 2, you see right there the 24, Jeff Stabnow, starting to fall back a lot of positions with Sam Teets. Paul Newton trying to figure out a way around them. They'll go 2, almost 3 wide. Josh Marcy slicing and dicing his way through this field as they go 3 wide, heading into 3 and 4.
Well, 3 wide for just a moment, as it looked like for a second Sam Teets wanted to be brave in front of Jeff Stabnow. He'll power it out of the outside lane in front of the 24. Marcy will now duck in line. So will also be Ryan Gormley. They are 3 wide on the opening lap, not wasting no time. You would think that was the finish. Still 99 laps to go, by the way. I said it was 200 miles, 80 laps. They're going to go actually what is that equivalent of 250 miles, 100 laps, I guess it would be. I need to do the math because something's off. 2.66 times. Anyhow, they're on the back stretch. I'll give you that update in a minute, Jason.
Yeah. They're doing a great job, though, regardless. I mean, double wide here up at the front of the field, coming around to take lap number 3. And there he is, the man, Dan West Jr., up at the front. Oh, one car out of shape into turns 3 and 4 on the banking. I believe it was one of those yellow and black cars. Believe he was able to save it. Could have been Ron Hunter. Oh, there we go, 11 in the round. That's Frank Harris, the legend, one of the Aerokinetics esports machines.
Oh, yeah.
Spins it down to the apron. No caution due to it being off the racing surface, out of harm's way, but definitely going to be something that Frank Harris did not want to see.
100 laps on Talladega is actually 260 miles to be exact. Just shy of half the distance on lap 94 for a 188 lap race. This will be again 266 miles as they work the back straightaway. Dan West Jr., that's the leader. Sean Brightsman right there in second. Hey, just think of this, Jason. We got an extra 20 laps for the fans than what we thought was advertised because we thought it was going to be an 80-lap race.
Yeah, and I mean, 100 laps is still something that can go by here very, very quick at Talladega. You know, when you talk about it, if this race were to go green all the way pretty much, they're looking at pitting about 3 times. The pit window is about 35 laps or so here at Talladega. Remember, this is a 2.666 mile super speedway, and you're on the throttle a lot, so you're looking at fuel burning out way before obviously any type of tire wear, so you're looking at pitting around 30 to 35 laps. So these guys are probably going to be pitting about 3-4 times more than likely here tonight if this race were to go green. But the way they're shuffling around right now, Wesley, I'm not feeling it going green all the way just because of how much jockeying for position we have.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it would be somewhere in that number right now as we watch them work their way back through the tri-oval, down into turn number 4. Here they come. Listen to this. Storming off turn 4. You got to be quick. And the thundering herd works their way back into turn number 1. Oh, yeah, baby. Jason, we got the digger cam. Look. I love it. I love it. And right now, Dan West Jr. loves it. He's the man up in front. Need I say more? This guy's dominated this year.
Absolutely, Wesley, no doubt about it. That is Dan West Jr., driver the number 55, doing a great job and seeing a lot of shuffling throughout the positions. I believe we had a couple cars go around in the back of the field. Ryan Gormley, I think Joshua Marcy, Carlberg. Oh, this is a massive wreck. Down the back straightaway here. I believe it started about off turn number 2. Paul Newton's involved. Couple of other drivers involved too. We'll have to see if we can get a replay of this one.
Caution is out first time in the race. Problems down on what they call the Alabama gang super straightaway on the backstretch. And Jason Rockefeller, you saw it break loose there on the caution on lap 5.
Yeah, just off turn 2. We'll see if we can get another replay right here. You see John Onbacher just riding along, and then all of a sudden just absolutely starts to break loose. He gets a tap from the rear end, hard impact into the inside retaining wall. Nose gets absolutely ripped from that, and it looks like right there, if we could just rewind it one more time, I think the 35 checked up, or it was the 24 that checked up. Here we go, perfect. Down the back straightaway, just a bump going wrong. Looks like the 24 was out of shape. The 35, Josh Marcy, went to push, but when he pushed that 25 of Jeff, it just looked like just got him a little loose and unfortunately set a couple guys on the wall. You see Gary Nichols, Toby Ritter's involved in this, other drivers as well. Chris Cameri starting to try to slow down. I believe he was involved in this one. Lots of good cars taken out early here in this race, but they have that one faster pair necessary too.
Yeah, that's the ace in the hole, if you will, that you can use that. But obviously, Jason, if you use it, if you use it this quick in the race, obviously. Oh boy, on board, Chris Cameri. Man, what a hit! He'll take a fast repair.
No doubt about that right there. That was a hard hit, and unfortunately just what we call ARCA braking down the back straightaway, just not on the brakes quick enough at all whatsoever. Makes hard contact with one of those cars up into the outside wall. And now that these guys have gotten a couple laps under their belt here, we're 6 laps in now to tonight's race. You got to think, too, probably, Wesley, that these guys are like, all right, guys, we already had one wreck this early on. Let's try to keep it green probably the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's pretty heartbreaking. Caution out. Lap 7 of 100. They're working lap now. Dan West Jr. is still the man that is continuing to lead the way. Hey, something we haven't done in a while, Jason, is actually be able to grab words with drivers in real time. And Dan West Jr., you're leading the cavalry. And I think I've said, man, I don't want to say you got the bullseye on you, but hands down, you have been the talented driver this year so far in that 55, especially since coming back from Labor Day. Where is this momentum attributing to?
It's just coming down to crunch time, man. We just want to chase that championship. So it's just definitely being focused and putting some good lap times down. But that being out front here right now is definitely not me. That was all Sean. So I appreciate the teammate on that.
Yeah, and obviously, Dan, you leading this race currently right now, 6 laps. And how do you feel like this race is going to play out? This race can either go one of 2 ways. It could be a wreck fest, or you guys could be double wide, single file, have some green flag pit stops. What are you anticipating this race to unfold like here as it keeps on progressing throughout the night?
Well, I'm like most people. I think I'm hoping that it's going to be green flag pit stops so we can put on a show, right? So I'm hoping for no cautions, man. I'm hoping that this is just the one and done, and we just race it out.
Well, Dan, it is always great catching up with you, bud. We'll let you get back in the focus of this race at hand, and we'll see if you can get 4 wins in a row. And obviously, man, you are carrying the momentum heading into the playoffs right now. And obviously, I know you're going to the playoffs, so you're just looking for a W here at Talladega, right?
Yeah, we got some teammates that need to win to get in, so I think that's kind of our focus. But right now, we're just trying to get the guys up front and see what happens at the end of this race and see what we can do to help out.
All right, way to go at the line. We'll let you get back to it again. The man's 4th in the standings. He's got already 3 wins in a row, looking for 4 in a row in the 6 top 5s and 9 top 10s on the season finale. The number 55, that is Dan West Jr. from Shelton, Washington, and that has been another driver update. Jason, I love being able to grab a word with these guys, especially in real time.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I do this in a couple other broadcasts that I have too. Sometimes a wreck happens and you want to get more clarification. You might not know what was going on through the driver's mind. So you're like, hey, let's pull up, I don't know, Toby Ritter's. Let's pull up Frank Harris.
Yeah.
Let's get a word with them to see, hey, what did that wreck look like from your angle? Or, hey, man, what was wrong with the car? This and that. It's always great to be able to do that kind of stuff, with the technology that we are provided over here at LSRTV. So it's really nice to be able to do that. Grab a word with these drivers before they strap back in and start to regain their focus mentally to go back racing here at over 200 miles an hour.
We're ready to set them back up for the restart for you here. It'll be lap number 8 when they come back to the Geico restart zone for the green flag of the finale of the regular season. Dan West Jr., his Chevrolet, on point to the outside. Sean Brightsman, couple of team LSRTV drivers right there flanked. Then you got Kevin Smith and Tyler King for win racing right there on row number 2. Of course, Ryan Blumentoe. There's, of course, Sam Teets, Dennis Moore, William Fletcher, James Vining, the Catman. I thought he was going to be out of commission, had some health issues. Good to see him quickly get back in the high horse in the 333. And he's in 9th. Chad Malik is right now currently your top 10. Leader choice inside or outside. Everyone else can go from there to the top to the bottom of the iRacing pace car. Dropping onto the pit lane, As Jason, we get ready to go back for a green flag after the wrap-up of the first caution flag of the race. Nobody coming down to the pit lane unless you're in the outside the top 12 like Daggett, Johnson, Kynes. Oh, those are guys that were caught up in the accident, Jason. We're coming back to green. Here they come out of turn 4. Dan West Jr. inside, brings him to speed. We welcome back into turn number 1.
Dan West Jr. gets a great restart with Sean Brightsman. You see also Kevin Smith trying to clear last year's Northwest Truck Series champion Tyler King. Not able to do that as they head through 1 and 2, this time from the first restart of the night. Now Kevin Smith able to jump back down, trying to hook up with Ryan Bloom. Tyler King, he'll jump out of the pocket, head up to the top side, trying to get a side draft on the 46 of Brightsman as they work their way into 3.
8-ball corner pocket, not just yet. He's looking to try to go for the kill shot on Dan West Jr. if he can on the top side. King is hung out to dry, but here comes help with Smith, Bloom. They'll give him a punt finally, help him push to the outside, but right now it seems like that momentum works between West and Brightsman more as they work through the tri-oval back into turn number 1. West has momentum, not anymore. Finally, outside lane comes to work, and Tyler King to the lead into 1.
Tyler King does a great job getting that help from Kevin Smith and also Ryan Bloom, 2 of those CLICKIT RV machines. And then back behind them, you have Dennis Moore, also Chad Malik, William Fletcher in the mix as well. You see Kevin Smith getting a little bit squirrely down the back straightaway, nearly made contact with the 21 of Tyler King, but as they head into 3 and 4, that bottom lane looks a lot more organized than the top lane as they head into 4.
90 laps to go when they come to the line. They'll be 1/10 of the way through. Yes, still a long way to go and a short time to get there. Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman down to the bottom. Here comes Bloom. He'll poke on the nose to the inside for just a moment to get out of the line with Smith. Smith said, no, stay with me. So will Dennis Moore. So will Fletcher. Outside lane wins. It's King to the lead. Back into 1. Here comes Smith on the outside, winner Monday.
Yeah, and Smith's doing a great job just pushing that 21. Got to be careful at pushing him on which side of the car, Wesley. He wants to push him square in the bumper, and if he pushes him on that right rear or left rear, that can end up sending that 21 around. You have to be careful. You do not want to make sure that you push a guy in those areas because you will start a wreck, and you do not want to be known as that guy who starts the big one here at Talladega.
Did you see Chad Malik right there? Really loose a moment ago, coming through turn number 3 and 4 before entering the tri-oval. Right now, that pink machine gets back in line, fans out behind the back of the 79 of Sam Teets Ford. That's on the inside lane, the outside lane, the Michael Waltrip Band-Aid throwback Ford, Tyler King, former truck champion. He ain't even in the playoffs for the trucks this year, mind you, Jason. But he's trying to make a run for this series. He's looking for a win. If he can get it done, it would be his second win of the year as the driver with 7 top 5s, 10 top 10s, leads the way. Oh, and by the way, his win back in March at Texas is, boy, they about got below the apron. Sean Brightsman way downhill. Teets opened the door. He's got to find a way to climb back on the bank, and then he will in front of his teammate there. Working in front of Ritters. Oh, my goodness. Wow, that was crazy.
That was really interesting. And actually, that's the Catman. That's James Lyman right there in the 333 who let him in. It looked like it was Toby Ritters. I thought the same thing and realized that it was the Catman up there. So
James
great to see him. Yeah, great to see him back here. And Wesley, I'm starting to notice something. Remember when we went over the Kaufman creative weather conditions? And I wonder if we can get those pulled back up here for just a moment. You see Kevin Smith finally duck out of line again to go to the bottom for the race lead with help from Ryan Bloom. But look at that track temp, folks. 104 degrees Fahrenheit. That is super duper hot for this time of year, especially in Talladega. And with that being said, that is going to make these cars handle really, really poorly heading into the corners and off exit. We've already seen a few guys get really loose on exit here, like Chad Malik, like we saw the 46 of Sean Brightsman. You saw the 55, Dan West Jr. Just do it there for a second. As these tires wear out ever so slightly, handling's going to become more and more of an issue.
Looking inside, looking outside. Smith on the bottom. He'll carry Bloom. So will be more. Dan West Jr. flanked to the inside. Teets now after that move around there with Brightsman. Brightsman shook like a rag doll to the bottom of the apron on the white line, the yellow line. Now had to get back in line. By the way, no penalty for Sean Brightsman because he didn't advance his position. He got moved out of position going below the yellow line. Meanwhile, here comes Dennis Moore. He wants to get some more pickings up on the field. He's in third. He's looking at Bloom. He's looking at Smith now, the new leader. And look at that bonsai move just a moment ago on the 20 machine of Chris Kynes from the outside to the inside, really back to the inside on a daring move, and he made it work going to turn one. A little too early for that, Jason.
Yeah, but you know what, though, Wesley? He had just enough room to be able to do it, so no harm, no foul. As long as Brett Johnson was okay with it, then I'm sure that everybody was okay with it. Because Brett is the one who has to lay off before anybody else does. So good move by Chris Kynes to be able to get down to the bottom of the racetrack when he wanted to in a safely timed manner. But as everybody works down this back straightaway, you're starting to see that inside momentum start to carry a little bit better. The 20 Chris Kynes a little bit loose into the corner. But that outside momentum could be surging off this corner if everybody keeps hitting that yellow line on the apron and starts getting loose here.
Hit your line perfectly. Down, well said, Jason. They come back out through the tribal into turn number one. Couple of cars looking to go maybe to make it outside lane. That's Ray Fortier and Troy Daggett. By the way, no strangers, Jason, to success at Talladega or Daytona. They've won the duels in the super speedways in the years past. No, they're non-points races. No, they're not going towards, going to a championship or the playoffs. But they have proven that if they hang back, they can be contenders. John Ottenbacher, also one of those guys as well. They work the back straightaway with Smith out in front going to 3.
Yeah, Kevin Smith's doing a great job of holding this field at bay right now. I'm just really getting a little nervous sitting up here in the booth looking at these cars and how twitchy they are off these corners. And really what really makes me kind of, bite my nails a little bit, Wesley, is right here through the tri-oval. This is the fastest part of the racetrack, arguably, just like what they say at Daytona. A lot of drivers say the fastest part of that racetrack is when you head to the tri-oval because you feel like you're turning at a 90-degree angle at, over 200 miles an hour. I mean, you're not literally turning at a 90-degree angle, but it sure as heck feels like you are. And that's where a lot of guys start to get loose. We've seen constantly, time and time again over the past few years, guys would get loose out of that tri-oval and just lose it and create these massive wrecks past the start-finish line. We've seen it a lot off turn 2, off turn 4, coming to pit road with guys getting loose. So again, still going to be something we're going to have to watch here as everybody bounces off that yellow line.
Kevin Smith carrying that momentum. Here comes his teammate, Ryan Bloom, right there behind him. Tucked to the inside, to the outside. We've seen their battle in the playoffs in the trucks. Kevin Smith obviously has advanced to the round of 8 after the race, of course, on Monday night. All of this going on as they close in down into turn number 1. Smith out in front, Bloom, Dennis Moore. That's another driver, Joshua, that he's really good in the trucks. He's mediocre in this series, but it's just because he doesn't get to run that much. But Dennis Moore, one tough customer in that 44 whenever he's in race mode.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No doubt about it. We've seen this 44 of Dennis Moore do some great things. And boy, oh boy, there's a lot of guys out here doing some great things like saving these cars, seeing more and more drivers get loose. Just saw Sam Teets for a moment ago into turns 3 and 4 and just get really quickly loose, tap the apron, came back up. So no harm, no foul. He does it again heading through the tri-oval. As you look at the start-finish line camera, there they go, whizzing by at over 200 miles an hour. Dennis Moore, though, definitely a guy that we're going to have to keep an eye on here tonight, Wesley, sitting there up inside the top 3 with that 44 machine. He's a guy who knows how to get around super speedways. Definitely keep an eye on that blue and black number 44.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Down that back straightaway now, the Alabama gang straightaway. Of course, they work with Smith down on the inside, the Alabama gang super stretch. And here comes now Bloom looking on the bottom. And now you see Tyler King. At one time, he had help from them. Now he's up on the outside by himself. He's got William Fletcher, Joshua Marcy, who were caught up in that accident earlier in the race on lap 4. Jason, they are now climbing up into this spot. Stephen Paulison. Hey, remember Ray 48? I mentioned him. Here comes the 26 with Daggett back into 1.
Get some great racing all the way throughout this top 10, and some of these guys gaining a lot of positions from where they started. Stephen Paulus and Ray Fournier, both of them gained 14 to 15 positions from where they started. They find themselves just inside the top 15. Then you look at other drivers, Joshua Marcy, Chad Malik up 10 spots as well, but a lot of shuffling going throughout this field. It's still anybody's game to pick up any sort of position up here at the front of the field in the 3 and 4.
This time by, it'll be lap number 20, which means 1/5 of the way, 20 in, 80 laps to go. As, again, you got an extra 20 laps here. And we've seen him working through the tri-oval. By the way, Jason, that changes everything strategy-wise that I was working on my notes and stats, your notes and stats, driver analysis, because it's been advertised 200 miles, 80 laps. Now you're going 100 laps, 266 miles. You're probably going to dock on and add an extra pit stop for it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I said, I mean, these pit stops, the pit cycles here at Talladega being a 2.666 mile tri-oval super speedway, you're on the throttle a lot more. If you're Kevin Smith, you probably have less fuel than the entire field because you've been out front this whole time compared to drivers like Ryan Bloom, William Fletcher, Tyler King, just to name a few. Well, maybe not Tyler King as much right now because he's up on the top side, but you get what I'm saying. If you're the lead car, you're burning a lot more fuel, but if your guys behind, you're saving a lot more fuel because you have to lay off constantly. You have to be easy on the throttle. Don't slam into somebody's rear end. You want to make sure that you're taking it easy out there. You want to go full throttle sometimes, but that being said, just because of the on throttle time, which is pretty much constantly, these guys are going to be pitting somewhere between lap 30 to lap 35 because of how big this track is and with the throttle time. You see Sam Teets going below the apron right there. Looks like he's going to fall to the back of the field. So expecting probably, Wesley, I'd say about 4 pit stops here tonight.
Top 10, Kevin Smith, Ryan Bloom, Tyler King, Dennis Moore, William Fletcher. Top 5, bottom 5 include Stan West Jr., the guy trying to go for the quad wins. Now he's got a hat trick, trying to go for quad, 4 wins in a row. He's in 6th. Stephen Paulison climbing up there at 7th. Joshua Marcy 8th. Ray Fournier 9th, up 17 spots. And Chad Mountain right now just got passed by Troy Daggett to put himself into the top 10. We're at the top of the hour. We will pause for 10 seconds of network identification. This is the Northwest iRacing CLICKIT RV Fixed Series on CRN, the Community Radio Network.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Back here at Talladega, and no change, at least for the lead right now. Kevin Smith up 10 spots. His Chevrolet for Win Racing and Team Bomb Speed is up in front. Jason Rockefeller, I'm Wesley Outland. Cody Deemers filling in for Charles Wooten on the broadcast coverage on production. And, of course, on behalf of iRacing, Rocket Racing Media, we welcome you to the final round of the 2023 fourth season of the regular season, the playoffs, Jason, when we return next Wednesday night.
Yeah, and it should be a really, really fun time, to say the least. I mean, when you look at everything, and how this season really has gone about. After tonight, we head into the round of 12. You go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you go to the Oval. That's going to be a fun one. Then you go to Richmond. Then you go to Homestead. Who doesn't love Homestead with the B cars? I absolutely love Homestead with the B cars. You start the round of 8, you go to Iowa, Kentucky, Las Vegas. Very interesting tracks, to say the least. And then you round out the final race of the season at, oh my goodness, one of my favorite tracks on the iRacing circuit, to say the least, or just NASCAR in general, the Auto Club Speedway, one of the tracks near and dear to my heart. Just such a fun racetrack, being able to run so many different lanes, rip the top, just so much. With such high horsepower, low downforce, this is going to be a fun playoff section to watch.
Make no mistake about it, it's a track that will probably never be ran by NASCAR, at least on its dimensions now. I think there's right now debate of if they're even going to return there with the half-mile short track racing setup that the conversations have been. I haven't really heard anything in the last 2 months after, of course, the race that they had back in the spring down there at Auto Club Speedway during the West Coast Swing. And Of course, 2-mile win to Kyle Busch, and you never know what's going to happen from there, obviously. But with 26 of 100 laps on the board, Jason, you've got a track that's going to be really, really fun for the championship. And I look at the first round and the round of 12. We go from Talladega. Usually the Northwest truck guys have a week off. The Northwest Fix Series drivers, they won't. They literally go right to the playoffs next Wednesday. They're in Indianapolis. That's another super speedway, historic 2.5-mile track. No, you drive it differently than Daytona or Talladega. Yes, but then you go to Richmond. Then you go to a Homestead. They're totally 3 different tracks that will really determine the outcome of who deserves the right to go to the round of 8.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Indianapolis is a very tough racetrack, to say the least. I've had my fair share. Ran a race there for the FTSR Mach 1 Performance Cup Series back in July. I ran 250 miles there in a next-gen Cup car, and boy, oh boy, I was sweating bullets by the end of that one. I had not been in the virtual cockpit in quite some time. For my first race back, didn't do bad. My goal was the top 15. I did just that after starting 16th, so not bad for me. So that's going to be fun. Obviously the next-gen car compared to these Xfinity Series cars are a lot different. You're dealing with a lot more horsepower, a lot less grip. So these guys are going to have to be on the brakes, and tire conservation is going to be key, and it's going to be very hard to pass. Then you go to Richmond, a short track, high horsepower. I've seen a lot of guys in the past few years get really squirrely off too, hit that wall, start big melees. It happens every single dang year. And then obviously you go to Homestead, which is a track you can run multiple grooves at. You can go from the bottom, then late in the run, you can run the top side. So those are going to be 3 races that are going to be super fun for us up here on the Booth Westland Call.
Yeah, they certainly will, and we look forward to bringing it to you. Field works their way back down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch, as right now it is Joshua Marcy now trying to get something started on the outside. His Toyota will use that momentum with the help of Tyler King as a flank, the wingman, along with some other help as Fletcher's on the top. We've noticed the outside work a lot easier, faster than we've noticed the bottom, actually, Jason. And I think they're testing the lanes of how many lanes they can climb. We saw one time, we saw drivers go 3 wide. That didn't last for long. A lap later, there was a crash. I think right now this is just not the time to go 3, 4, 5 wide at the time being just yet.
Yeah, definitely not. But you also got to think to yourself, we're going to be pitting here within the next 5 to 8 laps or so. And I'm sure that these guys are all trying to figure out who they want to get with down to pit road. Whoa, Kevin Smith below the double yellow line. I believe he tried to make a move. Joshua Marcy opened up the door, partially let him by. So no harm, no foul. There will not be a penalty on that one. But Wesley, all these guys starting to figure out who and when they want to go to pit road with, in which this should be coming up fairly shortly. I can only imagine here with the pit window being about 30, 35, 38 laps, maybe 40 at most, I would probably say, on a tank of fuel. So you're looking at about 4 pit stops like we talked about earlier on in this race, maybe, just maybe. So everybody's starting to single file out and also go double wide back towards the back half of the field.
All of this working its way down the back stretch. You have the 00 now in the lead. Kevin Smith with the help of his teammate Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore, and then you've got West. Malik right there with besides that little slip earlier as we're approaching lap number 30 this time by. Literally all of this coming into play, Jason, that he's got a pretty good run going for him. That car looking really, really good currently right now in the top 5 also.
Yeah, there's lots of guys up here inside the top 5, top 10 that you could say that are having great runs. You look at William Fletcher on the 28. He's having a great run just inside the top 10 in that 28 machine. You could also say Brett Johnson, talked about him, inside that top 10 as well. I actually raced against Brett, I believe. I don't know if he remembers me, but I'm almost positive it was Brett Johnson. I raced Brett Johnson here at Talladega, and I tell you what, he's definitely come a long way from then. I remember back when I raced him, he was chopping me off going through the tri-oval a couple times, 3 times, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I got to a point to where I said, "Are you going to chop me off one more time?" And he said, "Sorry," for like a whole lap. And I'll never forget that on iRacing. That was definitely a funny moment. I don't know if Brett remembers that, but like I said, obviously, definitely has changed since then. Here he is right now running inside the top 10, doing a great job falling back to 12th. But like I said again, pit stop's coming up soon, so he's probably trying to figure out what his game plan is going to be like everybody else.
All of this going on now as they work their way again right back through turn number 2, down that back straightaway again. Here comes that opportunity opening for Marcy to hook up now with King. And look at Ryan Bloom pull up in front of Marcy, trying to throw a block on him. Really made him go to the binders here for a minute, Jason, as they work into 3. And here comes that scramble now, getting unorganized as they work into speed up the banking in turn number 3 and 4.
Yeah, everybody getting very squirrely. They have to be careful with who they're pushing and when they're pushing and where they're pushing. You do not want to push on the right or left bumper. You want to push them square. You do not, and I mean do not, push them into the corners at all. You see lots of guys getting squirrely. Ryan Bloom trying to push Kevin Smith. Tyler King trying to push Josh Marcy up at the front of this field here on lap 33. They're double wide, 2 by 2 by 2, all the way throughout the field here as they work onto the Alabama Gang Super Stretch.
It's Talladega Super Speedway, ready to roll here. This track again, 2.66 miles, tri-ovals, 48 feet wide. With the apron at 12 feet additionally, 33 degrees in the banking additionally in unison in 1 to 2 to 3 and 4. Right now they're working that area, closing in off turn number 4, coming back down to the tri-oval. All of this going on now as we're approaching green flag pit stops, and as I say that, Jason, here comes the cavalry. On the brakes is Bloom. Kevin Smith in perfectly. Dennis Moore, Marcy. They're all, no correction, that's Toby Ritters. They're all coming in on pit road.
I'm going to tell you what, that was not perfect from the 25 or the 00. They were absolutely locking it up coming to pit road. They could not get those wheels turned. I would not be surprised if that 25 and that 00 there, Wesley, if they do in fact receive pit road speeding penalties, because that was very, very hot coming into the pits, and I can only imagine what the next group of cars is going to be like as they work their way into 3, more than likely going to have a big gaggle of traffic coming in this time.
And we'll have to find out what the, if you will, determination will be here for the field as they work their way back down the front straightaway through the travel. 16, by the way, 16.5 degrees of banking. Here comes Ryan Bloom now. Tyler King on pit road. Tyler King has called up now 21 on pit road. Truck Series champion for the Northwest last year, and hitting pit road, Jason, 1,730 feet of pavement onto the pit lane, entering 44 pit stalls, 30 feet by 64 feet wide, and of course that area behind pit wall, 30 feet by 21 feet at each pit stall. Take advantage of it, but don't overshoot your line.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't want to, and I tell you what, I believe Kevin Smith definitely got a pit road speeding penalty there, because he's going one lap down. He only just came out of the pits a handful of seconds ago, so that probably led to a pit road speeding penalty. I'm not too sure about the 25 machine. He's 41 seconds back, still on the lead lap for the time being, but with everybody pitting, he's definitely going to gain some time up more than likely here as they work on the lap 36. We are still yet to see that big gaggle of traffic come onto pit road. Like I talked about, you have to be careful coming into the pits. Make sure you know who you're going with and when you're going.
You got a friend in me, or don't you? Down the back straightaway, Troy Daggett now. That Chevrolet leads the pack. Chris Camary up 25 spots right behind him. They're the 1 to 2. By the way, they pitted earlier in the race on lap 6 and lap 5, and we're getting squirmy. Hold on there just a moment. Chris Camary got loose. Right there in front of him behind Ray 48, Sam Teets. We've mentioned his name a time or two, Jason, that has caused some chaos and mayhem. And now they've got to block it up on pit road.
Lock it up on pit road. Looks like everybody's going to get through and clean, but definitely going to be some speeding penalties here. Contact! That's the 58 of Paulison. Knocks in to, I believe, that's Troy the Daggett. 99 of Troy Daggett coming into the pits. So that's going to be some heavy damage possibly on the right side of Troy Daggett's car. We'll have to keep an eye on that, but they all get through into the pits. As long as there's no wrecks, I want to say you're okay, but some valuable track time and positions are going to be costed that time.
to the One Fine Studios, number 15, Chris Camary, now the new leader here in this race at Talladega, working lap number 36 this time by, and I think we're going to see some more drivers get on the binders. Not just yet.
We're getting there, though. I guarantee you we're going to see them come down probably by lap 40, no doubt about it. I mean, the only ones who have not pitted yet would be, at least on this cycle so far, would be Chris Camary, Josh Marcy, Fletcher, Teets, Kynes, Fournier, Malek, Nichols, Stabnow, Gormley, Hunter. Those are all the guys inside the top 11 who have not come to pit road on this cycle just yet. Some of these guys, though, did pit at lap 5 to lap 7, though, Wesley, so they can go just a little bit longer. And obviously, the plus side of this is that they don't have to slow down. So while everybody's slowing down to come into the pits, they can just keep on gaining momentum and then just keep on drafting, work together, try to extend that gap so that when they do come down to pit road, they can at least be caught up or maybe even have the lead when they do come out of pit road.
And here's the thing you got to remember with these green flag pit stops, this will also, if you try to bundle up the field, they won't be in a big pack anymore. They'll be in separate tandems. And that can try to make the race a little bit more calmer, if you will, Jason. And then again, it might go the opposite and make it chaotic. You might get a guy to your inside that outside you might not care for, a little bump, a little rub. And the next thing you know, you've got crash. And right now, it's just we got to see how all this shakes up. Camary, Marcy, Kynes, Nichols, Stabnow, Gormley, Hunter, as you mentioned. Those are drivers that pitted on lap number. We got a caution. We got a caution. Throw this all out the window.
Wow, that's going to be huge here.
Wow.
We're going to have to take a look and see what the yellow was for.
Oh, it's Toby Raiders.
No. Not Toby, man. He's, oh my goodness, from a wreck earlier on to looking like something that coming out of the tri-oval. He was with some of those guys that I believe pitted, and oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Just gets involved with some of the Win Racing guys, I believe it is, and unfortunate circumstances.
Cold tires, Jason, what do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think he just. Yeah, this is going to tell it all a lot better. And
that's his teammate.
Oh,
no.
No. Just a mistake out of Kevin Smith, man. I mean, oh, my goodness. I mean, you can't really blame Kevin. He's trying to get back in line, but just came down way, way too early and clipped the right rear of Ritter's. But the good thing for Ritters is more than likely used that fast repair last time. Not going to be a fast repair necessary right there. There's no damage to that 23.
Yeah. I think if anything, maybe, and I don't think that flat spot tires is a new thing in iRacing yet. I think it should be in the new model, but I don't think they've ever done it. But if anything, the tires flat spotted if that was a real incident on track, obviously, Jason. But got the left, he got the right rear. Kevin Smith did, and big props to Toby Ritter somehow to turn that wheel and jerk it the other direction and not head on firewall deep into the safer barrier. Good work right there for Toby Ritters. And hey, listen, still a long way to go at Talladega. He's still in the game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's still anybody's game. I mean, for all he knows, that half the field, maybe 3/4 of this field, can end up wrecking here. 5 laps after the restart here when we do get back racing. You just never know. That's the thing at Talladega. I mean, I think about all the way back. You're going back to 2017, the playoff race. Remember how chaotic that was? Everybody was running at the end of that race. It was all clean and green. The next thing you know, everybody started wrecking, major wrecks going on, and we only had about like 3 or 4 cars without damage coming to the line that ended up finishing the race, with no damage. And we still had a wreck coming to the line. So it just goes to show you that anything can happen here at Talladega, and it is anybody's race. Even with this early, this amount of laps already up on the board with the damage they've got. Toby Ritter's definitely still in the hunt for this one for sure.
Cody, side by side. Let's go side by side. We'll be back in just a moment.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Talladega. Closing in on halfway in this event, round number 15 of the season, and of course the final race of the regular season before we determine the 12 drivers that will battle for the playoffs. We're getting ready for the restart. It's right now Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore, right there alongside Tyler King, Brett Johnson, row 2, Frank Harris and Vining. First 3 rows, Kamari, Fletcher, Marcy Kynes, and Jason Barney, virtual iRacing flagman, swirls that green flag, unfurls it to the field, and we're back underway, approaching halfway.
Yeah, it's some great racing we've had here so far, especially late in that run. Right before that yellow came out with Toby Ritters, they rumble down into 1 and 2. Ryan Bloom has the race lead over Tyler King, Dennis Moore, Frank Harris, the legend up there, after being involved in an incident earlier on. Brett Johnson, Chris Kamiri, the Catman, James Vining, Marcy, Fletcher, Kynes, your top 10 as they work into the ring.
On the back stretch now. Hold on to that spot with now Bloom on the inside. Here comes now Dennis Moore. He'll go to the top. Tyler King. Brett Johnson, what a run for the 7 now. Got a good run going for him. How about also James Vining? This is a driver that, honestly, Jason, we thought was going to be sidelined for a while, health-wise. And, man, this guy's getting to it. He is trying to win his first ever Northwest race, and he's climbing the top 4.
Yeah, and he's doing an absolutely great job doing that right now. That being James Vining inside the top 4. Hopefully he can just keep the wheels on it tonight. I think his goal is to probably just come out here, have some fun like most of everybody else here in this field, like him, William Fletcher, Chris Kynes, drivers we don't really see up inside the top 5, top 10 usually, so you can best bet they're probably all having a great time running up front here.
I'll tell you this much, I don't know what they're putting in the water in James Vining country or what kind of medicine he's been taking, but boy, he's got a renewed vigor, and he is making that outside lane work for him. Getting brave, battling with Johnson up on the outside, and he is right there in the cusp of battling with the leaders as we are coming up on halfway in about a handful of laps. Back to 1, it's Moore the leader.
And Moore is getting a nice push. Whoa, James Vining there for a second. Hold on, Wesley might have spoke too soon. Got really loose there heading into 1 and 2. Almost made some contact with the door of the 21 machine. That would be Tyler King into 1 and 2. They're all scrambling down the back straightaway, shuffling. You can see them kind of snaking around, almost like a waiting game for something to happen. As they work into 3 and 4, Moore is starting to shift out front with Ryan Bloom, Tyler King now. They're going to clear him in the top 3 while Brett Johnson and James Vining get disconnected. Whoa, Vining! Thought about coming down for a split second. He's able to maintain to the top. And now Tyler King jumps up to the top to lead that outside lane.
Well, what is it that Inspector Gadget used to say? Wowzers! Because that's exactly what just about happened just a minute ago with James Vining. Wow, man. Now he's going to get right back in line. Pulling behind Johnson, pulling behind King on the outside, and Dennis Moore will hold off Bloom on the bottom.
Doing a great job. Everybody up at the front of this field, despite everybody getting very, very squirrely. You see Ryan Bloom pushing Dennis Moore up at the front of the field. And look at the legend Frank Harris running P3, man. How cool would it be to see him take the lead if in case he did? And for all the guys in the Northwest Division, if it ain't Toby Ritters, it's Frank Harris. Whenever they go to the lead, the crowd goes absolutely nuts behind the scenes for sure. No doubt about it. Frank finding himself P3. Toby Ritters, in the meantime, finding himself all the way back. And I'm trying to find him right now. It looks like the 23 machine is 1 lap down, sitting in the 25th spot. So still not out of it for you Toby Ritters fans. 47 laps in. Anything can happen. And he's just minding his own P's and Q's back there behind the race leaders.
Driving inside, driving outside. Look at now Dennis Moore working off the Alabama gang super stretch down the back stretch and going to 3. That aerial coverage for tonight's race is always brought to you by your home for sim racing. LSRTV live sim racing from the Northwest Cup and, of course, trucks and Xfinity Series to now the butt kicker, World of Outlaw sprint cars, of course, the eNASCAR, Road to Pro Series, and more. We are your home for sim racing. And look at now Marcy powering on the outside. He'll go after it with Tyler King for that spot along with Johnson. Dennis Moore, though, fret not. He's got a cavalry of helpers as well on the bottom. And Frank Harris, as you mentioned, Jason, what a drive for the number 11.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A drive indeed for that 11 of Frank Harris. But I tell you what, it might not be a drive here pretty shortly. I'm not really liking all the shifting around going out throughout this pack. Look at how unorganized that top lane is. Everybody is not running single file. Yes, they're running single file, but not literally. I mean, you're seeing a lot of shifting. You just saw James Vining pull a daring move to jump down in front of Chad Malik. You see Josh Marcy leading that very top lane, but look at everybody behind him. Chris Kynes, Toby Ritters, William Fournier, everybody getting out of line with Marcy trying to side draft. This is just a recipe for disaster waiting to happen here as we're approaching halfway.
Yeah, we'll be taking care of that in just a few moments as right now we work back around here again. And we will prepare for the mid-race report of what is going on, how things are developing, and so much more. As right now we rock and roll on the racetrack. This race continues on again here. And, well, right now, as I mentioned, just a great group of drivers continuing to fight and shuffle and claw their way around turn number 3 and 4, coming to the line. A few more laps to cross flags, and Jason, obviously, Dennis Moore, one of those drivers that always we say, man, it don't matter what he's in. I know he's not in the contention for playoffs. He's just looking for wins, and he's got the car that can do it right now. And look, just right, the man in front, behind Smith, behind Bloom, really taking it to these guys in that 44 right now.
Yeah, and it's always good to see guys who are not really in the championship hunt, especially at this time of the year when we're coming to crunch time, literally crunch time as of this race being the regular season finale. If your drivers that are not inside the top 12 or have mathematically been eliminated from making the playoffs, obviously you want to try to have a good run as best as you can all the way to the finale at the end of the season come at Auto Club. So, I mean, it's always good to see drivers like Dennis Moore, obviously, like I said, Brett Johnson, Chris Camary, William Fletcher, Sam Teets have great runs up here at the front now as we're halfway into the race here on lap 51, 50 to go.
Yeah, I believe we can bring you, into the LSRTV mid-race report as the cross flags are out here at Talladega. Well, I haven't pulled all my hair out just yet, Jason, but this has been an entertaining race. Only 2 caution flags. It's been a comfortable race, I think is the nice word of saying it. But fret not, chaos is around the corner at any moment.
Yeah, and that's the thing here, Wesley, at Talladega, is it always happens. We've seen multiple Talladega races where we can go into weekends. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of Talladega races I've came in watching and gotten so hyped and was like, oh my gosh, it's Talladega. Anything can happen. Next thing you know, they're running double file, single file, 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide, and everybody's very clean. And the next thing you know, 2 laps to go hits and all heck breaks loose. It's just how it works. You never know how these races could go. They could go green all the way to the end, or they can have a caution with 2 laps to go, and then you have overtime after overtime after overtime. But I think so far, from the mid-race report that we're given right now, I want to say if I had to pick probably somebody who I'm really liking right now, why not go with Tyler King, last year's Truck Series champion? He's running right there, second on the outside lane, in 4th. He's been up at the front all race long so far, not really anywhere else he's been except during the green flag cycle of pit stops. I expect that 21 to be super duper fast, and I think the 21 of Tyler King is going to bring that Michael Waltrip Band-Aid throwback, not tumbling through the grass, but to victory lane here today.
I'm looking at the stats and I'm looking at my info in front of me and the telemetry as well, man, if I wanted to go with somebody, part of me wants to say Dennis Moore, but I'll be honest with you, Jason. I got to jump on this bandwagon and think that, man, Frank Harris looks good, and Frank is really being smart. If he plays his cards right, and I probably just jinxed him, but I would say Frank Harris. I would say, you know what? I'm gonna go out there and say it. Talladega, Frank Harris tonight, my pick. He's going to win here. I'm rooting for the veteran.
That would be interesting to see with Frank Harris. I mean, he's been running so good. Remember, we talked about one of those guys who, during the summer break we had for the Northwest Division, he ran a lot of races. So did Toby Ritters, Brett Johnson, James Vining, all races that made them better with their craft. And this is a race where you have to have a lot of patience. You cannot be trying to be a superhero and go all the way to the front on lap 1 and act like you're going to win the race. No, this is a race of chess. This is a chess match when you come to these super speedways. You have to plan your moves, and you have to plan them methodically and strategically, and I think that's what a lot of guys are doing right now, knowing that with the green flag pit stops they had once, we're probably going to see them again.
One more question, and I got to ask you this question, Jason. How different do these drivers drive now, especially knowing that there was another extra 20 laps through into the fold, or is that just out the window?
I want to say it probably just gives them a little bit more breathing room, more than likely. I mean, it's kind of just more time to settle down, figure out who's good at pushing, who's good at taking a push, who's good at side drafting and whatnot. All these guys, whenever you get around somebody, you learn how some guys are. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody knows now, by now, from the 55 laps we're on now. Look at Kevin Smith. He's getting pushed by Tyler King. Everybody, I think, knows that Tyler King has a good enough car and enough confidence to say, hey, man, I'll give you the push into the corner. I'll give you that push to get you out front. I don't care about making my car overheat. You got to watch that, though. That's the thing. Now that we're past halfway, you're going to start seeing a lot more aggressive moves. But to answer your question on the back half, Wesley, I don't really think it changes much besides the fact that we could see that 4th pit stop possibly, depending on how this race goes on.
He's Jason. I'm Wesley. Back to on-track action with Cody. Thank you, buddy. That's been your LSRTV mid-race report as we just have we've still got a long way to go, mind you, as I mentioned. Still a long way to go in this race, and obviously Marcy now gets around Dennis Moore. He is the new leader of the race, but not by much. Look at this pack on the bottom. Oh, we got trouble on the bottom of 3. Oh no, it's Vining. Vining gets turned into the pack. Oh, Fortier involved. Newton's involved. Kynes is involved.
Man, Wesley,
Wow.
I saw that heading into turn 3. I saw somebody come right down in front of somebody. We're going to take a look here at the replay from LSRTV. There's the aftermath, piled it down into 3 and 4 like something out of a movie. You see James Vining trying to get it whipped back around. Here it is coming down in the corner. It looks like from just that really quick angle before we went to commercial, or not
Chad
commercial.
Chad Malik.
Chad Malik gave a big bump to the back of this 333 car, turned him around. Look at the job that everybody else does, though. Dan Lowther, Stephen Paulson, and then Toby Ritter's getting through that. Destroys his back bumper cover. But a lot of guys involved in that, man. And I tell you what, one of them who was probably a guy who could have probably won this race, that being the 27 of Paul Newton, who, look at him right back there. He's the second last car. Same with Ray Fortier. They're back there minding their own P's and Q's. There's nothing they can do about it.
Man, how heartbreaking is that? I'm not want to make James Vining mad at anybody, but it's Chad Malik, the bearer of bad news. Blame it on the 08 to Chad Malik, and I don't want to say that he did it intentionally, Jason, but I think maybe he got into the left rear of the nose of the car of Malik into the rear end of Vining, and there's the old cliche: you don't bump anybody in the corners, and he made that mistake, and that's what caused that accident in turn 3.
Yeah, exactly, Wesley. No doubt about it. You hit the nail right on the head. You cannot be pushing into a corner, especially on somebody's right rear like that, with the amount of speed carrying into the corner, going from a flat surface type like surface into the corner, where it starts to get progressively banked very, very quickly. And unfortunately, that's just what bit the 333 of James Vining. Heartbreaker for him. I believe he still had a faster pair. Hopefully he gets to use it, because, man, it's been a great race for him, seeing him out front. Obviously, we all thought, for us up here in the booth and for the folks watching at home, we thought that 333 of James Vining was going to be out. Said he's been having health issues, but he's been having a great, solid run here tonight, man. I would love to see him finish inside this top 10.
Yeah, doing really, really good. Let's try to see if we can queue up. Who's up in front now? Obviously, I want to say it's probably
Ryan Gormley.
Ryan Gormley, yeah, he's up there. Here's my fear. I want to talk to these guys, but I'm also afraid that if I talk to them, that you jinx them and something happens to them. And I want to do that.
It's the commentator's curse. It happens to both of us.
It's the commentator's curse. It is. Oh, man. Who are we going to pick? Who's Eeny, Meeny, Mighty Mo? Nah, we'll go with Ryan Gormley. Let's put Ryan in here and see how things are going with the prodigy that I call in the TRD Rester Automotive entry number 22 Toyota. Ryan, right now comfortably in the lead. Got a couple of cars in front of you that'll take the wave around to put you back to the top spot. But what's your take of this race just after halfway? Kind of minding your P's and Q's, hanging back.
Yeah, just playing some strategy here. I waited a lap to come pit, so try to get as much fuel as possible, and yeah, just see how it all plays out, stay out of trouble.
Are you trying to make this maybe a last money stop right now, what we're seeing you pit?
If it's possible, sure. Never know.
Jason, that's a definitely different strategy out the window than some other things we're seeing other drivers do.
Yeah, no doubt. And Ryan, one last thing before we let you go here, before we get back to on-track action, man. We've seen a lot of guys get kind of squirrely in the back, with obviously the temperatures being so hot up on the racetrack so far today. Handling definitely a factor. Are you kind of nervous being back there? You're going to be mired back in this traffic now, trying to work your way up. I know that these Xfinity cars, they can draft a little easier than the Cup or the truck car or the truck. How are your feelings heading up towards the front when you're going to be starting in the back of the field?
Yeah, we'll try to be methodical about it. There's definitely a giant bump in the tri-oval that a lot of guys are uneasy with, I could tell, and there's a certain way to attack it, and there's certain times to push and when not to. So we'll see. Kind of at the mercy of, everybody else.
Got a feeling, Ryan, it's about to get crazy chaotic, so you're glad you put it in, you're going to hang in the back?
Yeah, I'm going to hang in the back probably for another 20 or so. My estimated laps right now says 42, so I can make it to the end.
All right. We'll see what happens. Get up on the high horse, bud. Good luck to you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Where do I need to move you back to, by the way?
Just a
private room.
It's just a private
room one. Just somebody all by myself. There's Ryan Gormley. He might be by himself, but definitely he is the guy that turned some heads, in my opinion. He turned my head in this series. Quickly, Jason winning within the, first 5 races of the year. And he is on strategy mode now. Might not need to pit anymore. Got fuel to go the distance. Don't know about tires, though, Jason. It's time to rally to the front as they come back to the Geico restart zone. And 41 laps to go when they take the green.
This is going to be interesting to see Josh Marcy. What will he do restarting on the bottom? They come into the Geico restart zone. He's going to fire out of it right now. Green flag's back in the air. Marcy gets a great start, but Wesley, you do not want to be that far out like Josh Marcy is. They're going to eat him up like he is just a train, putting on the brakes as they go into 1 and 2 now.
Chew them up and spit them out, as we mentioned again, as they work their way off that corner out of turn number 2. Marcy, half a car length down to the inside. Fletcher will follow in tow. Johnson is there as well. So is Harris. So is also Paulison. All this working on for the Aerokinetics team. Meanwhile, here comes King. King with a bunt. Here comes Dennis Moore. He'll throw the block on Bloom. He'll put Jeff Stabnow to the outside. Here comes the 24. First time we mentioned his name tonight as we come to 40 to go.
Great move by Jeff Stabnow to make his way up through this field, even though he started only in the 6th position. Haven't really talked about him all night long, doing a great job. Same goes for Dan West Jr. We talked about him once at the beginning of this race. We have not really talked about him since. And the same goes for drivers like Joshua Marcy. Started there up on the front row. Here he is sitting up there. You also look at Sean Breitzman in the 46, another driver that we have not talked about. Everybody, though, meanwhile, down the Alabama gang super stretch, starting to get a little bit squirrely. The 24 looked to go to the outside for a split second. He'll stay behind the 21 as they go into 3 and 4.
Yeah, he'll stay right there in tow, as now we see Tyler King, same old song and dance again, back to the outside lane. We mentioned this happened earlier. He does the same thing again to the outside. Dennis Moore, same old move again. He goes to the outside, to the inside. It's Bloom and follow. He'll stay to the bottom. All this going on as we work into the corner, down into turn number 1. King now, momentum-wise, faster on the 33 degrees of banking. He goes to the lead with a help of Stabnow on the push. But now Bloom with the push on Moore as they work to the bottom out of 2.
Outside's going to get a little bit of a surge of momentum down this back straightaway, with Bloom going to the front bumper of Marcy, checking up that inside lane just a little bit. With that, my theory was correct. The 21 of Tyler King goes right back to the race lead. Jeff Stabnow, Troy Daggett, Dan West Jr., Breitzman, the first top 5 up on the outside lane as they wrap 3 and 4. Tyler King sticking with Jeff Stabnow on the top.
Working their way again off of that corner out of turn number 4, storming through the triangle here on the 16.5 degrees of banking at Daytona, at Talladega. Working down through the triangle here. The pit lane is where the flag stand is at the exit. Working back to 1. It is now King slicing, dicing, moving inside and outside here. And gotta wonder, Jason, when does it all come unhinged? When do friends become foes? When do we see teammates then they got to do what they got to do on their own to win these things? 3-4 wide race, and I got a feeling there is a storm brewing. The just question is when.
Yeah, definitely a storm brewing, to say the least. I cannot tell you when, because that is the thing about Talladega. It is so unpredictable. You never know when the big one can strike. They're double wide, 2 by 2 by 2, as they're coming to work on to lap 64 this time by. Still anybody's race, but still, Wesley, the nervousness of everybody getting really squirrely all around this racetrack is making me think something's going to happen soon.
Working back into the corner, down into turn number 1. It's Troy Daggett now, back to the lead. How about that? And here comes DWJ. Dan West Jr. right up under the 1-5 Studios 99 on the outside. Brightsman now back up in the battle. King on the inside with now Stab now. I'll say it before, Jason. Here comes Team LSRTV, and they are showing they're ready to pack a punch in the late rally.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt about it, Wesley, as they work into 3 and 4 this time. LSRTV, that team, they are very strong here tonight. And look at Dan West Jr. making his way back up inside the podium. Top 3 make it. He's to the outside of the teammate of the 24 machine as they work back down now. Lap 65 goes up on the board this time as they work into 1 and 2. Troy Daggett has the race lead right now. Wesley, think about it like this. Troy Daggett, he is a dual winner here in the Northwest Division, so he, in fact, knows how to get around a super speedway.
Right now, certainly will. Down that back straightaway, down the Alabama Gang super stretch, if you will. Down into turn number 3. It is now the driver, Troy Daggett, up on the outside. Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman right there on the outside will follow in that conga line. But the conga line is also a do-si-do to the bottom of the racetrack. It's Tyler King, Jeff Stabnow, Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom. They're in that tussle as they work through the tribal, and they're about to go 3 wide. If Dan West is brave enough, he will not. He'll stay with his wingman Daggett as to go to 1.
Going into 1 this time by Tyler King. Still has that race lead, wanting to make sure that he holds everybody at bay, figuring out which lane is going to be the fastest, but you cannot block too late because you could start a chain reaction. There goes Jeff Stabnow. He'll jump up to the top side with help from Troy Daggett, who gets a big push from behind from the 55 of Dan West Jr. this time into 3 and 4. One of those cars goes below the apron and drop back. That was Stephen Pollison. They're almost 3 wide for a moment. 2 by 2 for the race lead off 4.
Oh, it's starting to get good in the neighborhood, and I don't mean at your local Applebee's. I'm talking about here in virtual Talladega. They're about to be 2, 3 wide any moment now. The Calgary, the Storm is now about to go to category for Judy scale 5. That is the maximum of a catastrophic hurricane or tornado. And that storm is now getting ready to take place. The sail works off of turn number 2. It's led by Tyler King. But Dennis Moore, Jeff Stabnow looking inside, looking outside. Somebody make a move into 3.
Tyler King still holding them all at bay, and Dennis Moore has been P2 like he has most of the night, right where he started. The outside lane, though, trying to come back. The 24 of Jeff Stabnow leading that lane like he's been doing most of the time.
Whoa.
Now Ryan Bloom's going to jump up now. Dennis Moore.
Oh, no!
Turn in front of the field, the big one. 1 car, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Too many cars, 1 upside down. That being Dan West Jr. up and over, sliding on his lid here on lap 68. The big one strikes at Talladega.
Terrible crash in the tribal. Ryan Bloom all tore up. So is also Jeff Stabnow. Many upside down. Ron Hunter with some big damage and more. The big one has just Dan West Jr. The big one has just took place on lap 67 of 100 laps. And here's the deal, Jason. We're not done yet. Your thoughts on what happened here?
Oh, boy. Well, if you were involved in this one, Wesley, you better have a faster pair. And really, this all started coming into the tri-oval. The 25 looked to go through the middle. I want to see if we can try to view that from the angle from where it was facing them, instead of coming from behind, because I want to know if the 25 moved out of line or if the 24 moved out of line. It was just too hard to tell right there. They head through 3 and 4. You see the 24 of Jeff Stabnow riding the outside lane. It all starts right here. Ryan Bloom gets the clear nod from the spotter, comes right off, glides across that machine of Jeff Stabnow, and then I think he just starts to come up. And then it's hard to tell, man. It's just late in the going. Nobody's really giving an inch at this point here.
Man, can we see that again? It looks to me possibly, and I say this, Daggett might have gave a punt to Stabnow and then caused him to get loose. Let's watch this again. This is probably a good angle right here. Look at this right here. He gets the clear. Oh no, he ran out of room. That's what happened. Dennis Moore is the one that went from the bottom. I look like I think that Bloom thought he was going to go to the top, Jason. That's what caused it. That's what caused it right there. Just ran out of room.
Yeah, and when you look at it too, Wesley, in retrospect, I mean, this is just a product of Talladega. You know, not really anybody's fault unless it's a pusher pushing the pusher moment. In this case, this was not that at all. You see the 25 move up with the 44, and then it really is hard to tell. And then, I mean, just a huge wreck here. I want to see maybe if we can view it from the 99's perspective.
Let's go on board with Dan West Jr. He got upside down. We'll see it from this angle with Jeff, though. Look at this. Oh yeah, man. Nope. Yeah. And there's with Dan West Jr. Look at that. Wow.
Oh wow.
Over the top of Stab now, his teammate. Over the top of the 46 of Brinksman, his teammate. All this going on, okay, in real time with Dan West Jr. This time we'll rest our pipes and let you hear the chaos. I told you, Jason, a storm was brewing, and this is exactly what just happened. Take a listen. Oh my. At another angle, at speed, here on board with Sean Breitzman. And here's the thing, Jason, we're not done racing yet. We're not even done. We have 30 laps of this left.
We're not even close to being done, and that was a majority of the field taken out in that one. I mean, I'm looking right now back at my replay angle. I mean, looking at that currently, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About, I want to say around 12 to 13 cars at most were probably involved in that one at some sort of capacity, had some sort of damage. So that definitely was, in fact, the big one. And we very well could see another one. I mean, if these guys had fast repairs, they were able to come down and take them more than likely. I mean, your race is pretty much done, though, I'd say, if you had to take that alternate tow, if you couldn't drive all the way back to the pits. And now as we're going to restart here, with 30 laps to go, this is going to get interesting because there's going to be a lot of guys up at the front who we haven't really talked about. There's also going to be a lot of guys up at the front who've been there. So now it's kind of a little bit of a very odd mix, but we're going to have to see how it plays out up here at the front.
We're not done yet, boy. I'll tell you what. Let's get Frank Harris real quick before the restart. Frank, what a drive for you, man. You're doing good, sir. Could tonight be the night you win at Talladega?
I hope so. I'm hoping to have a really good finish, at least finish in the top 3. We'll see what happens. So this is Talladega, baby. Anything can happen.
Man, what is the strategy that somehow you're making work to put yourself in this position? You just missed the big wreck. You've climbed your way through the field, and you're in a pretty damn good spot down the stretch to be in the top 5. 17 spots in 6th.
I'm just taking it easy, drafting with the car in front of me, and hoping to stay clean and keep out of the wrecks.
William, got anything before we go back to green for Frank?
Well, Frank, you're doing it. You're in the top 6, man. We've been talking about how much you've been improving over these last few weeks. Do you feel like all the races you've been running has helped with your racecraft as of recent?
Yes, I do. I also picked up a new wheel, a Fanatec nanometer wheel, so that helped out a lot.
All right, Da Vinci Racing, Frank Harris, we'll put you back in your spot, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way. What a drive he has going for him right now, and we will see where he'll end up when it is all said and done. Again, that is a great run for the driver of Frank Harris. Looking outside row number 3, it'll be 30, count it, 30 laps to go here at Talladega. Final race to lock in 12 to the playoffs, and we're back underway.
What a great restart right there for Dennis Moore, heading down into 1 and 2, this time from the digger cam as they are slowly approaching. There they are, storming down into 1 and 2, 30 laps to go. Moore with the lead. Josh Marcy in tow behind him with the 7 of Brett Johnson. The top not rolling as good as the bottom right now, but as they head down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch, we'll see if anybody ducks out of line or tries to shift with somebody else.
Well, we'll see if they play nice or will this thundering herd get back to chaos and mayhem again. Off into that third turn right now. It is still King on the outside. Fletcher will follow. There's Harris that we talked about. By the way, somebody said, why don't I try to grab Carl Burke? Carl Burke was not available. He's not in the chat box via our broadcast communication to get a word with. But, yeah, what a job for him. Though he's 3 laps down, somehow surviving to stay in this race, Jason. The leader is Dennis Moore. Back to the inside. He leads him back into the corner.
And everybody's starting to go 3 wide for just a moment. Going into 1 and 2, you see one driver up at the top of the racetrack. That's Ryan Bloom. He's got another one behind, and that was Stephen Paulson getting a little bit loose. Frank Harris jumps down to the bottom. Here comes the 7 of Brett Johnson. Jump to the top side, right in front of the Band-Aid car. They're going to try to go to the race lead with King pushing Johnson. Johnson not holding his lane as good as Pride King wants him to. And as they work into 3 and 4, the 44 of Dennis Moore will still hold the point, this time into the tri-oval.
Looked like they were stacking pyramids, my friend. 1, the leader, Dennis Moore. 2 stacks behind the next drivers of Johnson, King, Marcy, Fletcher. 3 stacks with Lowther, Harris, Malik, Nichols. Then 4 stacks behind them. And then it finally calms back down, but we're not done yet. Fletcher now. Oh, Malik is turned. He just got wrecked there into Ryan Bloom. And they're wrecking into turn number 1. Malik involved. Toby Ritters is caught up in it. Sam Teets again. Ray Fournier. Trouble. 28 laps to go here at Talladega in 1 and 2. Wow.
Yeah, this happened again. I'm just going to say right there, I think the 08 started to come up into the 25 right here. You're going to see it. Yeah, just goes right up into the 25 machine. Hard impact. Hard impact for Ray Fournier. You see the 79 there, Sam Teets. Toby Ritter's heartbreaker. It has not been a race at Talladega that he wants to remember compared to last year's Truck Series race here, which he ended up winning late in the going after a lot of wrecks happened. But look who's up at the front due to all the chaos. Brett Johnson, talked about him possibly being one of those guys to look out for, doing a great job in that number 7 tonight.
Another multi-car accident. Hey, real quickly, if our interim producer has it, I'm sure he does. This is Virginia 811 caution race summary. Bottom left of the monitor. 5. Count them. Count them on your hand. 5 cautions. 10 caution laps. 64 laps green. 10 under caution. And that'll be added on with more. 20 lead changes, Jason, here with the final quarter of the race remaining. Hey, let's go side by side so you don't miss a thing. We will be back for the final quarter of the final race of the regular season. The round of 12 playoffs looms. This final 25 laps determine who survives Talladega and who makes a run for the championship of the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Series. We're back in a moment.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Fade to black, fade to live. Welcome back, Talladega. Jason Rockefeller alongside. I am Wesley Outland, and boy, I'll tell you what, Jason, I told you, I had a feeling, what did I say, the Fujita scale, the categories of a storm, we're picking up the 5. It went into that and more. We had that accident and another big crash, this one, and we're seeing drivers new up in the front that either have methodically smartly stayed in the back to put themselves in this predicament, or guys that have got caught up in the accident. And we just also had maybe the money stop for everybody just coming down pit road, possibly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, now that we're going to be under 25 laps to go when we go green, this time we're going to be coming down to 24. I mean, this is still anybody's race. There's a lot of cars out here that have damage. There's also a lot of cars that are one lap down. I mean, we started with 28 cars. Currently, we only have 15 cars on the lead lap. A couple of those to notes who are looking to be underdogs here tonight. You look at Ron Hunter, Dana Rogers, Troy Daggett, Brett Johnson, Sam Petites. Just a lot of guys here up at the front of this. Frank Harris, Toby Ritters, despite being involved in 2 accidents, he's still there. So I guess Toby saved that fast repair until the very last wreck he was in. So round of applause for Toby Ritters being able to utilize that fast repair to the best of his ability. So he still has a shot at this, folks.
Oh, and mind you, we still have 24 laps left to go when they come back to green at the Geico restart zone, Jason. There are still great pages of racing history or destruction that could be written here within the next 24 laps.
Oh, yeah. And this is going to be interesting to see who's going to hook up with who. Now we're going to be coming down to 24 laps to go. Tyler King and Dennis Moore have been the class of this field. Will anybody challenge them here?
All right, let's try it again. We're ready for the field to come back inside the Geico restart zone. It will be, again, 24 laps remaining. Phenomenal job, by the way. Cody Deemers filling in for Charles Wooten. Of course, we're ready to bring you back to the restart. Here they come back from a different camera angle. This is from the drone camera inside the pit lane. And we're back to speed. Watch them fan out into turn number 1. They'll climb the 33 degrees of banking on lap 77. Right now, more to the inside. Tyler King on the top. Marcy, Lowther, Fletcher. Takes them about a lap and a half to come to full song, just like in the Real Trucker Cup Series at Talladega or Daytona with Super Speedway Racing. But right now, Jason, watching them now work to 3. They'll be at full song when they come back around to turn 4.
Yeah, this is everybody getting up to speed right now. As you look from the wall camera facing turns 3 and 4, they're going to be ripping by right here. Double wide. It looks like Dennis Moore is still going to have the race this time coming off turn number 4. Josh Marcy, look at Dan Lowther jump out of the place right now. He'll jump up to that second line. They're 4 wide in the back of the field. That might not end up good. They're bleeding green right now. And Marcy is going to go back to the race lead with help from Lowther to 1.
He thought about going to the top shelf where Grandma hides the cookies from Grandpa's and the dentures too, but somehow they stayed on the inside. They thought about going 3 wide, 4 wide. Back straight away. Oh, my, they're going right back to it again. And this time, leading the cavalry with the bullseye is Marcy from Tennessee. Dennis Moore now back to the bottom. He's got Daggett on the inside looking for the lead as they go into 3.
Every one of these guys, Wesley, must want grandma's cookies up on that top shelf right now. And Dennis Moore looks to be the one who could get to them first this time off turn 4. Still help from Troy Daggett. They're going to be coming to 22 laps to go. This time by everybody in the back still trying to figure out a way of how to get around each other 2-3 wide. And it looked like Sean Brightman was the one going 3 wide for a moment, just a handful of moments ago. He will, him and the Toyota Supra fellow driver, Ryan Gormley, the prodigy, top of the line there, 3 wide out of 2.
Dan Lowther also outside under Marcy's back door. He's got Tyler King. Here comes Ryan Gormley with the help of one of the greats of Sean Brightsman. Kevin Smith is in the battle. Nichols is there. Aerokinetics on the bottom along with Harris. Paulison. It's all getting now organized to 3 wide as they work off turn 4.
Great battling all throughout. Oh, whoa, Kevin Smith got loose for just a hot second there.
Woo!
Coming out of turn 4, Ric Flair, off turn number 4 there for about half of these drivers. They're going 4 wide into the trial rule almost. Back to the line now, 21 laps to go. It's still Marcy and Moore, but look out at the top of the racetrack. Ryan Gormley said he was going to run in the back. With half the field pretty much gone, he can head to the front. Whoa, almost a wreck him in the front. Marcy got blocked all the way to the top of the racetrack off turn number 2 from Dennis Moore. They're 3 wide for the race lead. Daggett, Moore, Marcy into 3.
3 wide. It's Dennis Moore now, the monkey in the middle as they split him on the outside to the inside. Here comes Daggett now, the 99 to the point. He'll power to the lead. Lap traffic has a pick on the outside, and we got trouble. Johnson crashes. Marcy's in the fence. Moore is wrecked. Gormley is wrecked. Teat somehow's got like a cat with 9 lives. He is somehow involved in another big wreck. And the caution is out. Kevin Smith, bottom of the apron, is spun. Caution with 20 to go when they were coming to the line. And the big one, again, out of turn 4. My.
All started, Wesley, with a lap car. They saw it in front of Ryan Bloom, trying to figure out how they were going to maneuver him. You saw the 44 start to come down, wanting to give more room to the lap car on top. Thought Marcy was going to come down, but no, everybody held their line. And for Dennis Moore, it ended up just turning one of those drivers, being Brett Johnson. Here we go down the backstretch into 3 in the Alabama Gang super stretch. You're going to see the 44 start to move down just a little bit. I think he thinks that the 35 and 22 are going to come down, gives him room. But unfortunately, everybody's holding their line. And from that angle, it looked like the 7 was holding his line, then just started to come up the racetrack. Kind of hard to tell right there.
Jason, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with this type of racing. But the problem is, it's just too early. It's too early to be doing this. I can understand 10 to go. Definitely 5 to go. But you got 20, almost 60 miles left in this race. Logistically, it just was not smart. But it's, I think it's the desperation. It's the desperation of drivers that are up in the front. As William Fletcher just barely missed T-boning Kevin Smith. What a move. There was a bonsai move between Lowther and Marcy. They looked like they were off a dirt track coming off of turn 2, jumping the cushion, if you will, ripping the lip if you're a fan of the dirt world. And Jason, now they funnel out into turn number 3, and you see him going from 1 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide, lap car in the way. I think there was panic right there.
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, there was definitely panic right there. Wow, Gary Nichols and William Fletcher, man, round of applause to those
Frank Harris.
Frank Harris as well for getting around that as well. And into 3, like I said, this is so hard. And Cody, I want to see if we can view it from the 7, or somebody who's behind the 7. That would be one of the aerokinetic cars, I think. I don't know if the 7 comes up or if the 44 comes down. It's so hard to tell. Like I said, I do not know if the 7 comes up or the 44 comes down. But here we go.
We've been in that pickle before, haven't we?
I think once too many times here tonight, if I had to count, Wesley, probably. I've lost count, probably. It's like
on board with Harris.
Yeah, we're on board with Harris. Down the back straightaway into 3. So this is going to give you a good look. You see the 44 more outside the 7 of Brett Johnson. He's holding that bottom, and then He comes up, and the 44 comes down, and they just meet in the middle right there. They just connect, and you can't unhook. Nobody's really at fault right there. Just two guys going for some real estate, trying to give room to one another and everybody around them.
Jason, that looks like what happened to Jeff Stabdown and Ryan Bloom in the trial.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The same thing. The same thing on board with Dennis Moore. Dennis Moore was a strong car involved in this one. Let's watch it. On board, take a listen here. Look at, oh, man, wow.
Now, see, from that angle, it looks like the 7 just came up purely.
Who was flying through the air? Oh, my God. Who was that in the rear mirror, Jason?
That would be the 7 of Brett Johnson going up and over.
Let's go on board with Brett Johnson. This should be fun.
I'm sure for him it wasn't fun.
Cue up the song, Seal, I Believe I Can Fly. What?
Oh, my gosh.
My apologies. That's R. Kelly. My bad. What's this, Jason? Look at this. Oh, man. No!
Well,
wow.
I think we could say we don't.
Were those the other cars?
We don't need a Northwest Salute high five after this race. I think we've had enough of our Northwest Salutes high fives during the middle of the race.
You know what, though? I've always said this, and I know there's a lot of people that, matter of fact, if you want to bring us back on camera, please do it, Cody. I have said this several times before, no doubt about it, Jason, as we approach 20 to go. I'm a fan of Talladega. I know some people aren't, but it's just the entertainment factor of what these iRacing events provide. And I tell people this, and I said it to somebody this afternoon via phone, you know, it's literally like the real deal. When they get on Daytona or Talladega on iRacing, you literally can sense this whole thing of holding your breath, sighing, relief, ooh, ah, the gestures. You hear the excitement in our voices, and we are fans in the booth. Yes, we're calling the race, but we're fans watching this crazy moves because you got to be smart. And that's the thing I think what the problem is. They're jumping the gun a little too early. You need to wait till probably about 10 or 5 to go. I think that's the reason we've had the cautions we've had so far, Jason.
Yeah, no doubt about it, but you got to think to yourself too, Wesley, if you're a guy in the back of the field, you don't have 5 laps to get up to the front. That might take you all of these next 17 laps. So if you're a guy in the back, you have to make moves like that. If you're a guy up at the front, I'd say calm it down just a little bit. You still have 18 to go. I've been in these scenarios in the fixed stuff, official stuff, whatever it might be. You're going to have to be calm, and guess what? We're coming to 17 to go. You're still going to have to be patient for 7 more laps.
I've always said this, and it's not about us in any imagination. We're just voices calling the show. But I would love to somehow one day put a camera with our descriptives of the way we're calling the races and the emotions and the way that we are just animated and depictive and our expressions on our faces while everything's going on. It should be entertaining. We're back underway. Green flag. Under 20 to go. It's 18 remaining, Jason, as they work the Geico restart zone. And how about Troy Daggett now? 1-5 Studios. Got a chance to go to victory lane, and he is pulling away from Frank Harris. And make no mistake, Frank Harris, Jason, wants to win here at Talladega. He wants to win a race in general for the Northwest.
Yeah, and I think he very well could do that if he's smart enough. I think if he just methodically makes his way up into the lead, be smart about it, which he's been doing all night long, man. I think he's got a chance to win this race. We're coming to 16 to go. There are a lot of hurt cars around you. I just don't know. We're going to have to see. You are not going to know who wins this race until you literally cross the line and finish this race.
Side by side, very quickly, or actually we need to pause for 10 seconds of network identification. This is CRN, the Community Radio Network, and the playoffs, the finish on deck from Talladega when we return.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Welcome back to Talladega, and this is getting good. Jason Rockefeller, I am Wesley Outlet. Cody Demers is our interim assistant producer for Charles Wooten. Rocket Racing Media, the Northwest Round 15, CLICKIT RV Fix Series, and Jason, it is right now Troy Daggett, the leader. You know Frank Harris or Dan Lowther or even a guy like Ron Hunter wants to win. William Fletcher, guys that have never won in the Northwest are in the top 5 as they come to the line with 15 to go.
I just cannot believe who is up here inside the top 10. If you would have told me this was going to be
Kevin
the top
Smith.
5, top 10 at
Outside.
the end of this race, I would not believe this, but they're 3 by 3 for the race lead. Troy Daggett surging ahead. Oh boy, Wesley, I'm sensing something brewing right now. Off turn number 2, down the Alabama gang, super stretch, down Lowther, hung out in the middle, everybody trying to figure out which lane they want to go to, but Kevin Smith, the Walla Walla, Washington native, goes to the front.
Fletcher left. Lowther hung out to dry. He went to the top side. Warren Smith leaves. Fletcher hung out to dry with King. They work off the corner, down to the inside, out of turn number 4. Look who's back up to the front. Kevin Smith. He was just spun in the apron. He's got Dennis Moore right there with him. That's how fast these cars are as they work out of turn 4. 14 to go. Now they're on the defensive with Daggett after them.
Yeah, right now, hearing in my ear right now that the
Kevin Smith is a lap down. My apologies.
Oh, we have a yellow. We got a yellow on the
We have a
racetrack
caution.
right now.
My apologies. Kevin Smith is a lap down. He was in front of Dennis Moore.
Oh, my goodness.
And Dan West Jr., who was looking for quad wins on the series, has crashed. Wow.
That is heavy, heavy damage to the front of that 55 machine. We're going to take a look here and see
What happened? Wow.
This started
Nichols.
behind them.
Nichols, Fletcher, West. Ritter's got a piece of it. Oh, my goodness. Wow. And by the way, our apologies. We were saying that Kevin Smith was in the lead by the looks of the way he was flying through the field, Jason. We thought he was. Dennis Moore is in the lead, but not Kevin Smith. But guess what? He's back on the lead lap now.
Yep, that's going to present him on the lead lap, being in front of those guys. That was great for Kevin Smith. Caution came out, perfect timing. Talk about literally perfect timing for Kevin
Lady
Smith.
luck.
Caution, yeah, maybe luck for the Walla Walla Washington native. We know in the fixed setup series, he is, general manager of CLICKIT RV, and he's sitting here, and he has had terrible luck all season long in that 00 car in a series that he sponsors.
Yes.
And he has not gotten to the front and been able to close one out. We've talked to him a couple times, but this could be a night for Kevin Smith where now with that little bit of luck on his side, maybe, Wesley, we could see that 00 finally get to victory lane like it's been itching to do.
Oh, man, this is going to be exciting and fun to watch, no doubt. Whew, boy, oh, boy. Let's grab Troy Daggett real quick. Man, I'd love to get his thoughts on the subject. Got a really good run going for him right now. We'll get his thoughts in the booth. Solid top 5. He's in second. Troy Daggett looking to put that 99 in victory lane besides in one of the duels at Daytona or Talladega. Your take of this race here, man. This has been an entertaining race, to say the least.
Yeah, it has been entertaining. Just been trying to avoid the wrecks and work with my teammates to get up here to the front.
Obviously, teammates, I know you want to help them, but obviously you got to win yourself because you want to go to the playoffs, right?
Yes, I do. So we're trying to work together and make sure one of us gets in there for Team Ramrod and get one of us in the playoffs.
Right now, Troy Daggett 17th, and that's what I mentioned, Jason. If you got anything as we get ready for a restart with Troy Daggett, is 1-5 Studios, drivers on the outside looking in, but anything can change. You get a win, you climb the ladder, and you can make that as fast 12.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. And Troy, now as we're going to be restarting with just probably about 10 laps to go, you talk about finding your teammates, but when do you think is the time where you have to fight for yourself if you do find yourself in the catbird seat coming off turns 3 or off turns 4?
Teammates or not, we're always going to go for the win.
Right now I'm in front of both of them. Looks like all three of us are going to start on the outside this time, so hopefully we can work together, get up front, and I want to take the W.
There you go. As many others as well. Their driver for Team Ramrod. Thank you very much, Troy Daggett. Go get them.
Thank you.
There's the thoughts again of some drivers that normally we really don't chat with that much, obviously, Jason. But, man, their genius appears on super speedways, and that's one of those guys. Troy Daggett, he can win. He can win. He hasn't won since a non-points dual race in Daytona or Talladega, but their tracks are very similar. Don't count out the 99.
I'm going to say it. I'm looking right now at the leaderboard. That's why I'm sitting here going, had to pick somebody with 10 to go.
Well, I told you mine's Frank Harris. I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing my mind.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't even remember who I picked, to be honest. I guess
you went with you actually went with you went with I think it was it Tyler King? I think was it?
Yeah, it was Tyler King. You're right. There you go, Wesley. I got it. It's too dang late, man. It's too dang late for this. We're running to Talladega. I'm forgetting stuff. I really do though think that Tyler is in a really good position. But if you really think about it too, in retrospect, everybody in this field right now is, even Dennis Moore, who is going to be starting in probably the worst spot you want to start in at this restart. Some guys would say otherwise, maybe like himself. I really do think that the 21 of Kevin King, oh my goodness, I cannot speak. Tyler King is up here at the front. I'm thinking of Ian Astakar, Kevin King. Tyler King is doing a really good job. He's been up at the front all night long. Kevin Smith got that lap back. He's up there. He's got his Wind Racing teammate, the 23 of Toby Ritter's up there. I think those guys could do something. This is, like I said, though, this is just still anybody's race. And, I mean, you talk about Frank Harris winning. Could you imagine if Frank Harris won? We call him the legend. We are yet to see him win. I would love to see Frank go to victory lane tonight. Yeah. It would be so cool.
Yeah, it's. I have to say this. It kind of reminds me of the underdog story where Trevor Ward won the Valley Star Credit Union 300 over Landon Huffman and Carson Quapple and Peyton Sellers at Martinsville Sunday night in the NASCAR late model race. To me, you see a guy like Frank Harris or even a Troy Daggett, a Ron Hunter. Somebody that doesn't normally we ever get to talk to that much, normally has bad luck, Jason. Turn it around. Put yourself in the catbird seat to win. Yes, it's go time. It's 90 laps in, 10 laps to go. And I will say, concur with me, Jason, this is now the time when friendships go out the window, alliances are departed, and you want to get the W yourself. You heard it from Daggett. You heard it from Harris. You heard it from all of them. Dennis Moore brings them back to the line. Green flag, 10 to go at Talladega to decide the round of 12.
14 cars, 15 maybe, look like they remain on track. Couple of them a lap down. And this is going to be interesting into 1 and 2 with just 10 laps to go. Moore is going to be able to get out ahead. You see Daggett starting to kind of slip and slide around. And Dan Lowther right behind him trying to give him a nice push down the Alabama gang. Super stretch, not going to be enough just yet. Frank Harris still right behind Dennis Moore as they work into 3 and 4, coming to 9 to go.
Daggett up on the outside lane. Lowther will follow. So will Hunter and Smith. That's on the top shelf. On the bottom, it's going to be Dennis Moore. He's got the help from Harris methodically with Team Aerokinetics partner Stephen Paulison in tow. It's Moore faster on the bottom. Here comes the outside, though. Daggett trying to make something work on speed through the trial at 9 to go.
Daggett trying everything he can down Lowther, and obviously Ron Hunter, his two teammates right behind him, trying to stick with him. He said they wanted to get the victory lane, but he said, nah, man, I want to take the W. Here he is, P3. He's in the catbird seat, can try to win this, but he's got to be patient. 8.5 laps to go when they reach turn number 3. He's got a good surge of momentum down this back straightaway. Him and Moore pretty much dead even this time into 3.
Dead even, side by side, stride for stride. Up the bank into 33 degrees at Talladega into 3. To the bottom is Dennis Moore. Here comes now Daggett. He gets a punt from Help by Lowther. Ron Hunter waiting patiently. That's another 1-5 studio entry. Right there in the hunt for Team Ramrod. It's now Daggett on the outside. He'll power alongside the Beaver State 44, and Harris is playing possum as they go to the line.
And Troy Daggett's going to leave the 63 of Lowther. Lowther's going to have the outside momentum, and looks like the 11 and 30 nearly door bang heading into 1 and 2. Not enough. Daggett loose on the bottom off turn number 2. Not enough to send him around. Moore, though, trying to give him the push he needs all the way down the Alabama gang super stretch. He's got Harris, Paulison, Moore, or not Brett Moore, but Brett Johnson, Dana Rogers, a lot of guys as Moore jumps to the top in 3 and 4.
And look up topside now. Here comes King. He's ready to get back in the gunfight. Smith will now hook up on a flank with him. They get a little loosey-goosey as Win Racing teammates battle down to the outside. Here comes Moore all the way to the top of the safer barrier. He was in the middle lane a moment ago, like literally a quarter mile. Now here comes Lowther in the middle. Lowther, he'll carry with Hunter. Now Daggett back to the inside. He'll throw the block on Harris. Harris has got Paulison. 7 to go. The pyramid works off 2.
7 laps to go, and treacherous corners can still be a thing down the Alabama gang super stretch. Lowther in the middle. Harris pushes Daggett all the way to the race lead. They're going to clear 3rd, 4th, and 5th place of Paulison. Lowther into 3 and 4. Kevin Smith pushing the heck out of that 44 in the top lane. This time off 4, coming to 6 to go.
And believe it, Kevin Smith is getting pushed the heck by Tyler King and Paul Newton also on the back. Brett Johnson back in this mix. Here goes now 11 cars in a pack. Anybody could win in this group, as right now they come storming to the line. It's now 7. Make it 6 laps to go. Now Dennis Moore makes the outside lane work for him. Daggett throws the block on the bottom, and they're 3 wide behind him with Lowther, the monkey, in the middle out of 2.
This is getting very nerve-wracking up here, up at the front. Guys are bouncing off one another. Here they come down the back straightaway. 5.5 laps to go. This time into 3 and 4. You see Ron Hunter, Paulison, King. They're 3 wide in the middle, and now they're 3 wide for the lead. Daggett, Moore, Smith up at the top of the racetrack. This time into 3 and 4.
Working now off of turn number 4. It is 1 lane leader. That is the driver Daggett. Not for long, though. Outside lane comes Moore. Lowther will play wingman with him for a moment. Here comes Hunter in the mix. So is also Johnson and Brightsman from Team LSRTV. And then you got Win Racing on the top shelf. Smith, do they go 4 wide? Not yet. 5. Now make it 5 laps to go here at Talladega. Lap car, Camary on the bottom, and it's full steam ahead for Daggett out of 2.
Everybody trying, fighting, clawing for every position. They know it matters. They know that a playoff spot is on the line here. 4.5 laps to go. One thing to note about this finish, Sean Brightsman, Paul Newton, and Ryan Bloom, 1 lap down or 2 will not be a factor. They are there to give the help needed to anybody that they're associated with. Coming to 4 to go this time on. It's still Daggett and Harris with the race lead.
Daggett stays to the inside. There's a lap car to the bottom of the white line. That's Ryan Gormley. He'll stay way below at it and says, have at it, boys. Daggett now powers away. 4 to go. They get back single file, but not for long. Ryan Bloom comes storming up the pack a lap down. He'll give some help to Dennis Moore and Lowther on the outside as they work off 2.
Everybody trying to figure out who they want to work with for these remaining 3.5 laps, and it looks like everybody is trying to get that momentum on Troy Daggett and Frank Harris down the back straightaway, and Ryan Bloom will get to the 11, even though he's a lap down. And they're looking to go 4 wide for a minute, back to 3 now. Lowther and King nearly made it 3 wide for just a handful of seconds, but this time coming down. 3 laps to go at the line as Ryan Bloom goes to the front of the pack, 1 lap down.
1 is fine, 2's chaotic, 3's a crowd, 4's a company, and 5 wide is trouble. Don't go for 5 wide. Right now they're trying to use every part of the racetrack they can, and now the lap car Bloom's in the way. Into the inside, it's Daggett on the bottom. He is the leader in front of the lap car, in the middle of Bloom as they work the back straightaway coming off of turn number 2.
And as they work the back straightaway this time head of steam, everybody trying to fight for every position. You have the 25 of Ryan Bloom up at the top of the racetrack now, with Moore and Daggett holding the top 2 spots this time as they work into 3 and 4, and it looks like Bloom starting to hold up the top, that being Lowther as they work their way off 4.
Place your bets now. They work their way back to the Geico restart zone, storming through the 16.5. Oh, trouble! Dennis Moore's in the fence. It's Brett Johnson got into him. He spins in a backward spin. We're going to overtime at Talladega. Caution is out. Dennis Moore rear-ended by the machine of Johnson, and he now drives almost backwards halfway through the tri-oval, and the 44 is damaged.
Wow. We're going to take a look right here at the replay, and coming off turn 4, the 7 of Brett Johnson looks to the outside, and Moore just blocks. He just throws a late block, man. You cannot do that. The 7 of Brett Johnson already had a nose in on him basically all the way to the wheel well, and unfortunately the 44 just kept coming up. The 7 wasn't going to budge. 44 puts himself on the wall.
And now, if this wasn't enough, Jason, you shake your head in disbelief. I'm like, well, we're used to this, right? Overtime.
Basically, yeah. We're all so tired here on the East Coast compared to these guys.
Listen, I will handle post race. You can do so. You can go to bed. I'll grab the interviews.
We got it together on this one, man. This is going to be an interesting finish. I'm interested to see this here. I mean, 3 laps to go. I mean,
it's in Terry Rafford's contract.
Yeah. I'm just interested to see if any of these guys can pass the 99 of Daggett. We saw the 44 of obviously Dennis Moore. He had a shot. He got wrecked. I don't know if he has a fast repair still. He might, but he's going to be mired back in traffic. Even if he is, does anybody have anything for this 99? Even with a fixed setup, he has just been so strong on that bottom side of the racetrack. Nobody has really been able to clear that 99. I just don't know. I think if there's anybody who could probably do it, I'd have to say it's Kevin Smith. He's had the momentum. Maybe tonight is the night where that 00 does go to victory lane like we talked about earlier.
Boy, Kevin Smith definitely came storming out of nowhere, and now he's right back in the top 4. Now, earlier we made the analogy that he was in the lead, and he was actually a lap down that went to the tail end of the lead lap. He didn't have to have a damn free pass or a lucky dog, Jason. He got the free pass on his own and drove by everybody, and he made it work, and in doing so, he is the new man up in front as this is coming to the end. 3 laps to go has now turned into overtime. And are you not entertained? Let's go side by side, thank our bills. We get ready for overtime 1. We'll explain the format if you're new to us from Talladega when we return.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Well, I guess we have network ID at the bottom of the hour as well, Jason. Welcome back to coverage at the Talladega Super Speedway. We are not done. We're going to overtime. Jason, I'll give you the distinct pleasure, my friend, to describe the overtime format if we have a new audience. And hey, listen, anybody can still win this thing.
Okay, so for anybody who is new here to the stock car racing side of things, aka NASCAR or just sim racing in general, when it comes time to the stock cars, this is going to be an attempt at an overtime, or is what old folks call a green-white checkered. We will have 2 laps to go. Hey, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. We're going to have 2 laps to go. We'll have 3 attempts. If a caution comes out with 2 laps to go, we'll re-rack them, restack them. We'll do it again 2 more times. If a yellow flag comes out on the white flag, races over wherever they were at the time of caution is where they will finish. Obviously, they will have to get back to the line, though, under caution speed. Only 3 attempts, so we're about to find out. Daggett Harris, front row. This is going to get good.
Overtime. Number 1, ready for the field to come to the Geico restart zone. This is it. 2 laps. Coming to the line, Troy Daggett with the best restart maybe of his career, Jason. He will send her off into turn number 1 and 2 up to 33 degrees to bank it as the leader. But here comes Team Aerokinetics. It's Paulison, it's Harris, they're friends, they're teammates, but they want to win into turn number 2.
That was not such a good restart, though, for the 99 of Daggett. We talked about a good restart for him. You do not want to be that far out. And look at what it's going to cost him. 1, 2, 3, almost 4 positions. The legend, Frank Harris, to the point with a lap and a half to go, followed by Kevin Smith. Daggett back to the bumper of the 0-0 into 3 and 4, coming to the white flag. Oh, no!
Oh, trouble. Paulison and Johnson crash. Dana Rogers is involved. Caution is out. Harris might be in the lead, but he's looking at another caution flag in overtime, too, at Talladega. Wow.
Oh, my goodness, right there. Such a heartbreaker for Stephen Paulson, minding his own P's and Q's, running the bottom, and then just gets caught up in something of not of his doing, coming up, and oh, yeah, he just comes up, and then the 7 just comes down. They just meet in the middle. Nobody's fault, really. Just racing deal. Everybody trying to get the most. Side draft, move up the racetrack. Unfortunately, just met in the middle there, and this is going to bring us to another overtime attempt.
And here's the thing. Obviously, Jason, Paulison's not going to be there to help Harris now.
Oh, no.
When you're all by myself, you know the lyrics to the song. He's really going to feel that whenever we come back to green because Paulison, I think, really gave him that push. And then whenever he got pushed, he was kind of holding up traffic, and I think he was trying to kind of play a blocker, if you will. And you just saw the end result of him and Johnson getting together, Dana Rogers, and boy, oh boy. Real quickly, thanks to my buddy Brian Morehouse, NASCAR, and Virginia811.com. Call before you dig. Here is your summary of the race in overtime. 9. Count them now. 2 handfuls, Jason. Caution flags coming up. 9 cautions, 20 caution laps, and 26 lead changes. Definitely a little longer than what we anticipated, but man, this has been entertaining.
Yeah, definitely, to say the least here. I mean, this has been entertaining all night long. I mean, we're coming up to almost 2 a.m. here on the East Coast, and it's getting late for us, but man, these guys are still digging here at Talladega. I'm looking at everybody right now. By the looks of it, it looks like a Sean Brightsman gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog, or what used to be the Aaron's Lucky Dog. Now it's just a free pass. That's going to set us now just 12 cars on the lead lap. And I mean, I guess you could say your running order. You have Frank Harris. He's been up front pretty much all night long. Great run for him. Kevin Smith, good redemption for him. Troy Daggett up front all night. Dan Lowther, Tyler King. You have Ron Hunter there in 6th. Toby Ritters with a comeback at 7th. Paul Newton, 8th. Sam Teets, 9th. Brett Johnson, 10th. Dana Rogers in 11th. And then Sean Brightsman in 12th. That is the last car on the lead lap. So these guys are going to have another attempt at overtime, attempt number 2. We'll see who's going to get it done here in just a handful of minutes.
And by the way, Brett Johnson, Dana Rogers was involved in the accident. They're going to fall down on the scoring pylon in a moment because Sean Brightsman is going to climb to back on the lead lap to 10th, I believe. I think right now we've got 11, 12 cars on the lead lap maybe. So, yeah. Whew. Overtime 2, Jason. We get ready. It's on deck again.
Oh, boy. Well, this is going to get interesting here, to say the least. I'm still putting my money on Tyler King. I still think he's got what it takes. I mean, he's been very, very fast all night long. He's been up there, not really involved in anything. I mean, but there's so many storylines you could look into this. I mean, Frank Harris. I mean, could you imagine how everybody in this community would feel if Frank Harris won this race, or Kevin Smith, who's like I said, the general manager of CLICKIT RV. He sponsors the dang series, yet to go to victory lane here in this series right now.
That's right. And by the way, he did win. He won on Monday night at Milwaukee Mile. Yeah. So he could sweep the week.
Yeah, you know, he could make a weekend sweep. Then you have Troy Daggett. He's a dual winner at Daytona this year. He could take it to victory lane. He's been so strong on the bottom. You've Dan Lowther. He was a dual winner as well, I believe. He's very strong. And then my guy, Tyler King. I mean, this field is just still stacked up at the front here. Really, some of the guys who've been up front for about more than half this race here. As we're getting the 1-to-go signal, this is going to get interesting.
Try it again. Take 2. How do you do? Lights off on the pace car. And Cody, who'd you say you were going with? Dan Lowther? True story. 2020 COVID years. Dan Lowther needed a win, Jason, to advance to the playoffs. It was a different format back then, but I will tell you, Dan Lowther was running for Team LSRTV at the time, and everybody came together to try to put his car into victory lane. He won Talladega, and I'll be honest with you, I even had a tear come to my eye. There was not a dry eye in his emotion of winning in the Northwest Racing Series on iRacing. I've had the privilege, Jason, and you know this, 30-year broadcaster. I enjoy getting to work with young guys like yourself and so many others. Sometimes, as we get ready for a restart, this might be the highest pinnacle that some of these guys chasing dreams to be race car driver in real life get to. We don't have the real Josh Berrys or the Tom Majeskis out there. They'll have the passion, the drive. You got to have a little bit more to get to that spot, though, Jason. But for a guy like Dan Lowther, and you see the emotion and you hear it in his voice, you hear what Frank Harris said. Troy Daggett, you heard what he said. Wanting to win. This is some of the highest accomplishments they'll ever do in their iRacing career. They want to win.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. I mean, I've been there, you know, as somebody who doesn't come from, you know, a lot of money. You know, it's hard to race, especially at this time, with these times, you know, that we face here these years. And, you know, iRacing has been one of those things where it's been a getaway, and sometimes it could be the best thing to showcase your type of racing talent. And these guys could do it right here tonight to lock themselves into the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Series playoffs.
Take number 2 of overtime. Frank Harris flanked to the inside. To the outside is Kevin Smith. They will battle it out. Chevrolet and Bowtie. The Ford, the Oval, going at it. Frank Harris gets a good restart, but he doesn't need to pull away too much. And remember, Paulison is not there to help him. Daggett will follow. So will Smith for the lead. They're looking at it. Daggett on the bottom. Oh, he got aggressive. Daggett got aggressive and turned Harris. Oh, man. Hang in there, Frank. It might not be that badly damaged, Jason. It might be not that badly damaged. What was Troy Daggett thinking?
I don't know. I think the 11 started to come up, and then the 30, or not the 30, but, you know, the 99 was on the bottom. We're taking a look at it right here. You're going to see the 00 has a run. Frank's going to go up the track, and then he just comes right down into the 99. I don't know if he got a bump from Kevin Smith or what, but that 11 started to come down. I think he was trying to pinch the 99, but unfortunately they just met in the middle right there.
From another angle. And again, I want to say this, bump drafting in the corners leads to that disaster, Jason Rockefeller. bum drafting in the corners. You can't do that on entrance or exit. Look again, 99. Okay, you went too far. Somebody cue up the Jeopardy thing. All right, here we go. Any day now. Coming through the tri-oval. Geico restart zone. Back to green. All right, so Daggett takes off here, Jason. And you look at him pulling back, giving room to Harris. Harris got a good restart, but he doesn't bonsai a pull away like we saw earlier that Dennis Moore did. And look at this now. On the bottom, man, I just think it was a side draft tandem in the corner gone wrong. I can't say it was really Troy Daggett's fault. He's going to go for it. He wants to win just like Harris does.
Yeah, I mean, he had the opportunity to go to the bottom, and I mean, would you have taken it? I know for sure I would have taken it because the 11 moved up. He created a lane for Troy Daggett. Troy took it, and the 11 saw it, and he tried to pinch him, and unfortunately, they just met in the middle. There's nothing you could do about it. I mean, yeah, Frank probably could have been a little bit more patient. He was going to have the drafting help, but at the same time, he's trying the best he can to maintain something. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, hopefully he could try to make a run here on this final green-white checkered. But, I mean, if we see another yellow, I mean, the race is over. This is going to be the third attempt at an overtime. We only get 3 attempts here in the Northwest.
And remember, let's remember this. This is the third attempt. This will be the fourth time this year for the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Series that we've at least got our way to the third and final attempt of overtime for the year. You see the scoring pylon ticker go from 4 to 3 as it ticks back. By the way, if you're counting, if you wanted to count the official race distance, we're right now on lap number 107. So we're going over 280 miles. And, Jason, here's something you got to think about. Remember guys that said they could pit, go to the finish? They're pitting now for either fixing damage or getting fuel because they can't go any further. Look at what Ryan Gormley did, bud. He pitted on lap 102. Sam Teach just pitted lap 107. Sean Brightsman, lap 103. These guys that thought they could go to the end of the money stop, they can't because they don't have enough to go for overtime.
Yeah, they just don't, you know, and it is what it is. They had to pit, but hey, there's only 12 cars in the lead lap, so it's not really going to hurt you all that bad.
Jason, look who's up to third. Hobie Ritters, Clifford, Win Racing, 1, 2, and 3 on the track right now. You talk about drivers wanting to help one another. Wood, Smith, and King give the assist to help the driver, Hobie Ritters, get that win to go to the playoffs. He's on the outside looking in. He was 13th.
I'd say as long as they're not on the outside looking in, then absolutely.
Hobie Ritters, 6 top 5s. No top 5s. 6 top 10s for the number 23. Don't push and overfocus. And don't overreach, kid. Just hang in there and you can put yourself not only a chance to winning, Jason, but if you can't win, a consistent finish, I think, might catapult him at least into the 12th spot. He's only, 2 spots to the bad, in the good. 2 spots to the good of passing Marcy. We know Marcy's tore up from the floor up. He's out.
Yeah, I think that Hobie Ritters has a really good shot right here, but I mean, you could say the same thing about everybody else right here up at the front. Tyler King, Kevin Smith, Dan Lowther, Paul Newton, Sean Brightsman, guys who we're used to seeing up at the front. I think that if Hobie Ritters and Dan Lowther are gonna want a shot at beating 4 of the best guys here in the Northwest Division, they're gonna have to work together, I think, because you have Kevin Smith, like I said, you have Tyler King, you have Sean Brightsman, and Paul Newton. Those are 4 of the top 6 are guys who have multiple race wins, championships. This is going to be interesting. And like I said, I think that Lowther and Ritters need to stick together if they're going to want to make something happen.
Boy. There's the deal. Colleague Jason gave the rundown to you. We'll try one more time. Attempt number 3. We get the green. And the Geico restart zone. Caution comes out before the white flag. Race is considered official based on the caution at time of yellow, based where the drivers were on track. just like NASCAR does on a third attempt. Now, if they take the white flag and they wreck after the white, it doesn't matter, Jason. They are running back to the checkered flag. May the best man win. Strap in.
Man, I've been waiting all day to see who's going to win this race because I knew it was going to be something like this. Something in my mind told me it's going to be like this. It's going to be a crapshoot. We're going to see some random winner, but we have a mix. We have guys.
Anybody could win.
Yeah, anybody could win. We have a mix of guys who are champions and winners of the sport, and then we have guys who are looking for their first dang win.
Yes.
They're to point themselves in the playoffs. This is going to be interesting. I still think Tyler King's going to get it, though.
Let's try it. Tyler King, by the way, we'll watch and see what he does in that 21 machine, the defending Truck Series champion of the Northwest, not even in the playoffs this year, trying to turn some heads here in the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Series. Final time at overtime. Here, third time's a charm. We're going to the checker flag one way or the other. Green flag, Kevin Smith checking out. Getting a good restart. But here comes King. Ritters will flank behind his back door. The rear end of Lowther gets some company now by Brightsman. Ritters, Brightsman, oh boy, they're working off the two, and Newton's right there in the mix also.
Oh boy, this is going to get dicey right now. They put Ritters in the middle, and King has got it. He's got help from Brightsman behind him, but Lowther pushing the heck out of the 00 of Kevin Smith. It's going to lead them down into 3 and 4. They're 3 wide for the 4th and 5th spot. This time, coming to the white flag, it's King with help from Brightsman, and then you have Smith on the bottom exiting 4.
One single spot with King in front. Then they're 2. Then they're 3 wide. It's like leading the lambs to slaughter. But somehow or another, we'll get to the other end. Coming to the line, Tyler King with the push by Brightsman. White flag in the air. One more lap to go. They're 3 wide. Ritters in the middle behind Brightsman in the 1.
Oh, and the wreck behind Ryan Bloom up and into the wall. Never mind that. We will stay green. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. King, Brightsman, Ritters to the top side. He'll jump up with Troy Daggett and also another driver right there. That's Ron Hunter to the top side. They're going to be drag racing possibly off 3 and 4 for the final time.
Bloom and Harris were the drivers that wrecked into turn number 1 and 2. They're ready to come out of turn 4. Now
no.
King to the bottom of the apron. Brightsman drifts up. King somehow bobs and weaves. It's Ritters in front. Ritters is out in front. Now there's contact. Ritters got turned. Brightsman crashes. Daggett crashes. Paul Newton around Ron Hunter. Paul Newton's in the lead. He's going to win Talladega, the road course king. Oh, my goodness. Get me out of this business. Whoo.
Speechless.
Wow.
I'm speechless. Wow. What a... We are... Oh, my gosh. I cannot believe what we just saw.
Oh, my.
This is like one of those races where, like, me and my friends will sit here and say, wow, what a great race. All that for a Kyle Larson win. That's what this moment is. It's all that for a Paul Newton win. I'm just kidding, Paul. We love you, man. But wow, what a finish right there. I mean, I cannot believe that Tyler King saved that thing going into 3, man. He's
Jason,
gone.
Paul Newton's not won a race this year on the series.
I know. And that's awesome
here's
for
a
him.
guy that just won and put himself into the... He was going to go in by points. This might open up things in the points and let somebody else get in. Ritters, I value his effort. I really do. Man, he tried so hard. Man, Toby Ritters... Cody, I know we want to join the celebration as Toby Ritter says, penny for your thoughts, Chief Paul. Let's go back to the last lap and let's analyze it here, Jason. What was right? What was wrong? Obviously, we start going back to turn 1 on the white flag. Frank Harris got turned by Ryan Bloom. We mentioned drivers that were laps down, but here's what happened coming off that corner.
Paul Newton should have lost it right there, but then Troy Daggett just comes right down. So this is coming to the white flag. So we're going to take a look at this right here. And you see Tyler King has
this was coming to the white flag right here,
Yep.
Jason, as you said. This is the white flag lap.
Yeah, so white flag is out. Everybody starts to do what they do. Ryan Bloom's going to get turned. Oh, boy, there he goes. He's
That's
around.
Frank Harris. Tough break for Harris.
Oh, yeah. Still comes home eighth. So, very good effort for him tonight. But then you see down the back straightaway, everybody's going to do Toby Ritter's heads-up move. Sees the run coming, jumps up to the top side. He gets a monster run with Daggett and Ron Hunter heading into 3 and 4. And then this is where everything gets crazy. The 21 is going to try his hardest to run super hard, but the 46 taps him in the right rear, gets him sideways. Heck of a job by the 21. And then you're going to see Newton get sideways, and this is where it all went wrong. Right there. Troy Daggett just comes right down into the 46, makes contact, everybody else gets collected, and then somehow, some way, Paul Newton comes through a diamond in the rough. Quite literally.
A diamond in the rough. Hold my beer. Excuse me, coming through. Wow. I say it before, I say it again. I know there's some hurt feelings. I know there might be some frustration. Damn it, I love Talladega. I love super speedway racing because this is the type of unknowns that you'll see. And big props to Paul Newton. First win this year on the series, mind you. Ron Hunter, second. Hunter Performance, second, up 26 spots. Jason, that's like a win for Ron Hunter. Dan Lowther, third. We're going to talk to guys on the podium that we don't normally chat with. Ryan Gormley, fourth. Sean Brightsman, your top 5. Toby Ritters, even though we got crashed out, will finish 6th. Tyler King, 7th. Frank Harris, 8th. Do you realize, Jason, only maybe 3 or 4 cars crossed the finish line at the end of this thing? Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, when you look at the rest of the results, too, 9 laps down, 2 laps down, as you just continuously go through these results here, obviously all the way down to Chris Camary in top 20. Then you go all the way down. You have James Vining, obviously. He rounds out the field last there. But everybody, just every single lap, Wesley, it seemed like something was going on with these guys. And at the end, it was only one guy who could win this race, and that was Paul Newton.
Paul Newton, we will grab in just a moment as we'll take a quick break. Post-race wrap-up show coming up, presented by I can't even think of the name of the show that Charles has. What is
Press
it?
Box
The Press Box, yeah.
Podcast.
I'm exhausted, aren't I? The Press Box Motorsports Podcast coming up. We'll grab a word with all those guys coming up in just a moment. So hang tight with us. We got Dan Lowther, and I think we're trying to get Paul Newton, and we got also one more that we need to grab as well. So hang tight with us. We'll be back with more after a break and our top 3 drivers after a crazy race and the big unveiling, as that will update from the Northwest Series, who is in the playoffs. I just updated it. I know it. We'll unveil it when we return.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Talladega. This one did not disappoint, by the way, if you were keeping track. 111 laps, 3 attempts at overtime. Paul Newton, first win of the year, and believe it or not, in addition to that, he will be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. All those details and more to paint that excitement is coming up in the Press Box Motorsports Podcast. I'm Wesley Outland. I can't believe I still got a voice after that crazy chaos and mayhem. Jason Rockefeller is alongside, and let's grab the podium. Dan Lowther. Dan, I kind of told the story of what it was like for you a couple of years ago when you needed to win a race here at Talladega to go in to make the playoffs, and you did just that. Man, what is your take of this crazy race tonight, finishing third?
Yeah, it was definitely wild. I kind of had bad luck to start again tonight, just like I did on Wednesday night, and kind of battled back. My whole goal was we were just trying to work with our teammates to get them in, because Chris and Troy both had a shot at it to win, so that was kind of the main goal for me, was to help those guys. But you know, I always love restrictor plate racing and usually do well. So unfortunate for Troy, but, you know, I did come out of here with the podium, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, and Dan, congratulations, obviously, on coming home P3, man. What was your take, obviously, on tonight's race? It was very calm at the beginning. Then all of a sudden, it just got super, super hectic there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think guys were getting a little bit crazy too early in that race with some of the 3-wide stuff and some of those cautions that we had midway through that I think could have been avoided. And then we pretty much knew it was going to ramp up and get just nutty there at the end. And obviously it didn't disappoint. It got extremely nutty, but it had to have been crazy for everybody watching LSRTV to see that.
What is it like? Obviously, Dan, you've been in this a long time. When you got teammates, you got people that you're running with, people that are you want to help. You want to help out. You look at the bigger picture, but you also look at the fact of, hey, I want to win too. I want to have something to brag about here. When does that go out the window? When does that have to be decided without hurting people's feelings?
Honestly, for this race, it wasn't until Troy got collected there at the end, and then I was like, all right, maybe I can weasel my way into a win here. But up until that point, we were still just worried about trying to get Troy in because we had already lost Chris earlier in the race. So it was still actually the goal just to get him in, to be honest with you.
All right, brother. Thank your sponsors. We'll see you in the playoffs next week. At least just looking at them for a W, for sure.
Yeah, we'll be back next week, obviously, and then we're still on an outside chance in the playoffs with the trucks. But
that's right. That's right.
Want to thank LSRTV. You guys always do just a phenomenal job at broadcasting these events. So that's good. And then just In Front Motorsports and go Team Ramrod.
Team Ramrod, big night for them, obviously. A good, bad roller coaster of emotion for that team. As, again, Dan Lowther will finish in the number 3 position. Let's go to second spot now as we continue our post-race wrap-up. We'll unveil the playoff top 12 in a bit. But Ron Hunter, another one of those drivers. Ron, I think this is the first time that we've chatted with you, or first time in a while. Man, your take of this crazy race here tonight at Talladega. Another solid run for Team Ramrod.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy race. And I haven't got to talk to you since the start of the season at Daytona.
Yeah.
I enjoy these restrictor plate tracks, and seem to run good on them. And to echo what Dan said, just trying to get Troy into the playoffs, clear up until coming off of 4.
Yeah, and obviously, Ron, congratulations on finishing P2. What was your thought when you saw Paul start heading through the grass and trying to come back up on track? Did you think you were going to have the speed when you saw him heading through the grass to try to get that win right there? What was going through your mind?
Nah, I knew he was going to get me. I wasn't sure how bad Troy was wrecked on the outside, and I knew there was a lot of trucks that wrecked behind me, so I lifted just a touch just in case Troy still had a chance. And I saw Paul coming. I'm like, oh, P2's good. Then I saw Dan coming and thought I lost that too.
Got to ask you this question, obviously, Ron. And I've said this highly about you throughout the races because I get to call NASRA, Northwest Trucks, the big shows. This one here with the guys on the Wednesday Xfinity CLICKIT RV Fix Series. You are one of these guys that I am never shy of seeing your name on the entry list for iRacing. What can you say about the knowledge and the experience you've gathered in all of these different league factions you've ran, obviously, over this year to make you a better driver and obviously put yourself in this column for a runner-up spot?
Really, the biggest thing for me over the last year and a half since I got on iRacing is trying to figure out what transfers from my real-life racing into this. And starting to learn that. The NASRA series has been great, but these Northwest Truck and Northwest Fix Series races have been great. I can race with my friends that I see and I race with all the time and pick their brains a bit. And nights like tonight, it's kind of fun because you got your buddies on there that you can hook up with and work through the field. And tonight was a good example of that.
Sponsors, bud.
Definitely Hunter Performance Motorsports, Hunter Print Media, Team Ramrod, LSRTV. You guys do a great job. We love having you broadcast our stuff. And yeah, go Team Ramrod.
There you go, another driver for Team Ramrod, and Hunter, again, the driver, Ron Hunter, gets himself a runner-up spot. Nothing wrong with silver. Up 26 spots, by the way, at the end of that race to finish in second. Let's go to victory lane. As I mentioned, the playoffs will unveil the 12 drivers in just a few moments, but I can tell you that after everything is reset with the playoffs, Ron, of course, Paul Newton, winning here tonight at Talladega, it was also enough points-wise to be the points leader by 2 points going into the playoffs. Paul Newton, congratulations. We normally call you the road course king. How does it feel to be the super speedway prince here at the end of tonight's crazy race at Talladega?
It feels pretty good, especially to do it with some momentum going into the playoffs is pretty awesome. In a lot of ways, these races are kind of like road course races. You kind of work your strategy backwards, and then when they start wrecking, you got to turn right, you got to turn left, and you just got to pivot around them somehow, and that's kind of the way it happened in the end.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight. So strong all night like a lot of guys were, and then a lot of guys started to fall off. But, obviously, you head into the playoffs now. You are the points leader from what it looks like. How are you going to handle the playoffs? What do you got to do differently to try to get one of these things done this year?
I definitely have to step up my game on the oval tracks for sure. I haven't done a lot of practice this year. Last couple of years I've been relying on my road course driving, and that hasn't worked out this year. So definitely spend more time on the sim between races and just get more of a feel for an oval. It's all about getting your feel for these things. A lot of these guys have the instincts that I don't quite have yet, so I got to work on that. Probably run some open races too.
Paul, what's your take of this race? Was it just too chaotic, too fast? We lost a lot of trucks because of it, not having patience, or did you expect it to be this way?
It's just kind of always this way on super speedways. So yeah, that early wreck, I got caught up in that, and I went a lap down on lap 4. And so name of the game for me was just staying alive through that whole race. I knew we were probably going to get a bunch of green-white checkers right at the end and a bunch of chances to get a lap back, and I actually didn't get a lap back until, I think, lap 97. So I spent all that time a lap down. That's, just got to stay alive. You're never out of it in these races. You know those cautions are coming, and as long as if you keep from going 2 laps down, you have a chance. There's always a chance when you're only 1 lap down.
Due to time constraints, we are not going to go on camera to close out posts. We'll finish up things here in just a few moments. Paul will unveil the top 12. But I got to ask you this question, though, man. Looking at the way things have been in this race to the playoffs, where do you see yourself now going from being a guy that needed a win to get in to now being the winner, and now you're the number 1 seed?
Yeah, that feels really good, but I didn't get there on skills alone. I had a lot of help from my teammates all year. Beaver State Racing guys were awesome, and I'm going to lean on those guys for the rest of the season too.
All right, brother. Well, listen, congratulations. Before I let you go, thank your sponsors, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs next week, Indianapolis.
All right, thanks. I want to thank PaulNewtonDesign.com, Peel's California Mandarins. I want to thank the Northwest Racing Series and all the guys that put that on. as well as all the guys at LSRTV for putting on these awesome broadcasts, and then CLICKIT RV, our sponsor. So thanks everyone.
He'll close out the regular season of 15 races with 8 top 5s, 12 top 10s, and finally a win here tonight in triple overtime at Talladega. The number 27, Paul Newton entry. He wins here. All right, so because of time constraints, we're quickly going to get off the air here. But, Jason, we are going to unveil the drivers, at least that are on the outside looking in first. I want to say the number 13 seed missed it by a point, Joshua Marcy. Frank Harris missed the playoffs by a point. Kevin Smith missed the playoffs by 5 points, 4 points. And I'm understanding, Jason, that Toby Ritters, though looking for a win, was trying to help out his fellow man, the boss of Win Racing. Kevin Smith tried to get a win to make it into the playoffs himself. Here is your 12. And I'll do the first 6. You do the bottom 6, my friend, if you got the tally in front of you. Paul Newton, again, as I mentioned, he will be the number 1 seed. Sean Brightsman, with 2 wins on the year, will fall back to 2 points back. Tyler King is in the playoffs, 12 back. Dan West Jr. is the number 4 seed, 23 back. Christopher White in the playoffs, not here tonight, but he did enough to put himself in the playoffs with 1 win and 46 back. Ryan Gormley, Jason, is in the playoffs with that 1 win at Atlanta, obviously. He is 56 points back in the top 6 of the points.
Yeah, and then you have the rest, obviously. Going down to 12th, you have 7th is Ryan Bloom. He's 66 out. Jeff Stabnow, he's 8th, 74 out. Brett Johnson, 9th, 76 out. 10th is Toby Ritters.
He made it.
7 points out. Clifford, in fact, made it tonight. And then you have 11th, Stephen O'Hare. He's 89 out. And last but not least, Devin West, 95 points out.
And that's a driver, by the way, if you remember, Jason, that had to not only lock in enough starts, which was basically the amount of races needed at 10, but he also needed wins. He got in by the cusp of his teeth, making it. I feel bad for guys like Marcy and Harris and Smith. 1 to 5 points, not being able to go in. And, of course, John Odenbacher, Troy Daggett, mentioned to him, he didn't make it in. Your 12 are set. Brother, your final take of Talladega. This is pretty darn fun tonight.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, chaotic to say the least. I mean, the amount of guys we had coming and going out of the front was just insane. And I mean, now I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I can't wait to see what these are, and I can't wait to see who we crown as champion at the end of this year.
The playoffs will fire up, of course, next Wednesday night. That will be October the 4th, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, that will be an exciting one, no doubt, after tonight's race here at Talladega when it's all said and done with Paul Newton picking up the win. And then you got 3 rounds, Indianapolis, Richmond, Miami. We are going, by the way, to the next round of the playoffs for the Northwest Truck Series on Monday night. That race, of course, will be the final race in the round of 12 for those drivers, and that will be at Homestead, Miami this Monday night, October 2nd. Hey, big thanks to Cody Deemers. Phenomenal job filling in for Charles Wooten. Always a great job. Thanks, of course, to Jeff Stabnow, Sean Brightsman, everybody with Rocket Racing Media, Charles Wooten, all the things that we've learned, tutelage, and all the great things that he's done helping Cody along the way. Amazing team of people. Truly an honor to be a part of the Northwest. For Jason Rockefeller, this is Wesley Outland. Been a long one tonight, a great one, an entertaining one, a wild one. Paul Newton winning. Final race of the season, enough to make the playoffs and a jump to the number 1 seed. The playoffs next week begin at Indianapolis. Enjoy the rest of your